Hey, welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking. We got a couple of videos I want to watch, but we're going to start off with the next-gen Xbox reportedly ditching physical games. We just had the Sony story yesterday. So Xbox is reportedly testing game-changing features to digitize your physical games. We're also going to talk Mike Ibarra, Activision of, Blizzard Activision guy. Microsoft guy. He had a tweet post talking about what's happening with Sony, so we're going to go over that as well. And then we have some videos. We have a video from what happened to multiplayer games from DomGaming, submitted by Just Enough. We also have why Xbox Studios keep failing the Freedom Trap from Laura Fryer. We like watching Laura Fryer's videos. And then I found a video, and I started watching the first couple of minutes of it from Mug Thief. He says PlayStation just changed the games industry for the worse. Now, we do this Monday through Thursday. On Thursdays, we do a lot of videos. And because of the nature of the stories and the way they come out, I don't really like watching people's content that's like brand new. But by the time I bring up their videos and they're like, next week, they're not permanent anymore. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys go, if you guys like Laura Fryer's video, if you like Mug Thief's video, both are less than 24 hours. So make sure you guys go over there, hit that like button. It helps their channels out just to know that people are watching the stuff. So, but if you like to watch their videos in full without stopping and pausing and stuff like that, it takes a lot less to just watch them to get their stuff. But if you want to watch me watch their stuff, get my thoughts and opinions on what they're saying, then you can watch here as well. What's going on, chat? Let me see who's all here. Let me see. Let me scroll back up. Morning, Travis. Morning, All Turn. Morning, Eclipse. Water Bear. Shadow. Aku. Mr. Luke. Shadow. Albany. Sarge. Kylo. Who am I missing? Anybody else I'm missing over here? I think that's everybody. If I missed you, well, speak in chat, and I'll see you again. All right. Let's get to the first story, right? The industry is a changing, but now it's like from my perspective, right? From my perspective, I would assume from Sarge's perspective, it's like the industry had just gotten all the rest of the gamers out there, right? That are just playing games, don't really realize stuff, don't really care, right? They got smelling salt underneath and they woke up and they're like, wait a minute. What happened? Why is the industry changing so much? Meanwhile, we've been talking about this for years. Well, here it is, right? Here it is. It's time. And it's just going to get worse, right? It's just going to get worse because what do you think the next step after digital games is, right? Everyone's always like, you guys were worried about there was not going to be consoles. There's not going to be consoles. There's no consoles, right? And I said that they're going to go digital and they're going to go towards the cloud. And everyone's like, nope, I'm going to buy physical. Can't stop me from buying physical. Until the companies decide they don't want to make physical anymore. And then voila, you can't buy physical anymore. Okay? Said it all the time. You can until you can't. And starting January 2008, you won't be able to buy physical media anymore for at least the new games coming out for PlayStation or where the next PlayStation is or whatever. Okay? Well, Xbox, now remember, there's people still defending Sony right now. There's people still defending Sony. I don't understand any of you people, and I don't know if you're in the chat now, right? I don't understand anybody that can bootlick any corporation because they are screwing you over, and you're like, oh, I love it. It's so good. Okay? All of these companies do not respect you. They don't care. They want the number to go up. Corporate salute. Okay? And they don't care how much they charge you. And everyone's like, well, no, you see, Xbox did this first, right? Oh, well, they've done this. Stop it. Stop it. Okay? I don't care if two kids are in the back of the car fighting, right? I'm going to pull over. I'm going to kick you both out of the car because you're being idiots, okay? The industry is all working together. All of them are working together, okay? It's not who did it first. It's the entire industry is working together. It's amazing to me that people are like, well, no. I actually saw this on Twitter. I forget who said it. Right? They're talking about how, oh, no, they're going to still have disk drives. They're still going to have disk drives for Sony, right? They're still gonna have disk drives, and you can still, buy the stuff and put your disk. Bro, they're not going to have any kind of discs. Do you know why? Do you know why these companies don't want to have discs? Let me educate some people out there, right? Not my chat. My chat knows exactly because I've been talking about this. But if you're coming in and watching this for the very first time, right? Publishers and physical games, okay, they want to control it all. They used to have to give their money to manufacturers, retails, okay? They used to have to compete with the secondhand market of GameStop, Best Buy, or not Best Buy, but, eBay and all these other places for secondhand markets, right? The profit margins for them, they had to give it to a middleman, right? There's investor pressure. That all goes bye-bye. That all goes bye-bye. When they control the entire thing, beginning, middle, and end, right? Everyone's like, well, no, they have to charge $70. They just can't keep the lights on. Most profitable console, right? Oh, they got to charge $80 because, games have just been the same price the entire time. Okay? They are making more profit per game because they control the entire thing. The market now, okay? I just went to GameStop yesterday because we went bowling and we went to go to Panda Express yesterday. And there was a GameStop next door. So we walked into GameStop. I walked over to some used games. Did you know I could pick up Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2? I could pick up, I forget what other games I saw. Oh, I could pick up a God of War, Ragnarok. I could pick up, what other game did I pick up? Oh, Borderlands Ultimate Edition. For the grand total, okay, of $15. That's right. Listen to me again. I just named 4 games. Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, God of War Ragnarok, and the Ultimate Edition. And the combined total of all these things was less than $20. Right? Yet, once they go digital, okay, they stay at that price, at the high-end price. Go to the Sony store, right? They're like, oh, well, they have sales all the time. They have sales now because they still have to compete because there's still box stores. There's still places that you can also purchase the video games from. Once that's gone, they don't have to put sales on anything. And when they do sales, they're like, yeah, we're giving you 20%. But they're also raising the price. So it doesn't matter that they're giving you a price discount. Okay? They don't have to put sales. You know why Nintendo doesn't put their games on sales ever? Because they don't have to. They don't have to. Because people keep buying, blindly just buying the stuff. They can just keep it up all the time. Now, if you like that, cool, right? And everyone's worried about the consoles disappearing. Well, now the games are disappearing. What's the next step? What do you think the next step is, chat? You guys thought I was crazy when I was talking about cloud gaming and perpetual subscription model that they want to charge you every single month to play video games. They did it with movies. They did it with music. You don't think they're going to do it? Oh, I'm sorry. They did it with television. They did it with movies. They did it with music. You don't think they're going to do it with video games? All right. Let's go to the first story. Xbox reportedly testing game-changing features to digitize your physical games. Do you remember when Xbox said that you couldn't share your DRMs and PlayStation came out and said, this is how easy it is to share a game? They handed and they won the generation because of it. Because gamers were like, yeah, they respect us. We wanted the digital. We don't want digital. We want physical. Xbox literally lost the entire generation of gaming because of that one stupid move. Now Sony is doing the exact same thing, and people are applauding. There's people out there defending this shit. They think it's the right time to do it now. Okay, so Xbox reportedly testing game-changing features, digitizing your physical games. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so Xbox is apparently working on a way to users could digitize the physical games that they own on Xbox One and Xbox Series X, possibly to encourage existing owners to upgrade to the next generation of Xbox. Xbox has new systems in development called Project Helix, which will be the successor of the Xbox Series X/S. Details about the system are limited at this time, but the company is already starting to build hype for the console ahead of full reveal. Let me tell you something. Just like I told people way back when, 12 years ago, not to buy Skull and Bones. Okay? Not to buy Skull and Bones. Don't buy these new systems. Don't buy the new systems. Right? You do not need a new system. Make them make the games where you are. Do not chase the trend. Because you're going to buy a brand new system and go, oh, I got a brand new system. But there's not going to be any games for that system at all for 5 years minimum. Because it takes 5 to 7 years to make a video game. They only get the games or the systems about 18 months ahead so they can get the developer kit so they can start making games for it. Okay. Video game fans have long worried about companies phasing out disk drives, and Xbox S does not have a disk drive. The multiple PlayStation 5 models do offer the option of playing physical games. PlayStation confirmed it will be phasing out discs in 2028. And it could mark a major change for video game industry as a whole. No, it will. Not may. Okay, Xbox prepares for all digital future. Project Helix reportedly won't have a disk drive, which prevents current Xbox Series X and Xbox One owners from using their existing physical games on the new systems. Okay, according to a report from The Verge, the Xbox is looking to a way that players could digitize their physical games they own ahead of the new system launch. Details have not been officially confirmed, but users could basically get a digital entitlement for the game. Well, I already have an entitlement. I already have the entitlement because I have the game. Now, obviously, if you don't have the system anymore, you can't play the actual game. But I should be able to still play that game. And that was the big thing back in the day, right? They're like, oh, well, you could do backwards compatibility. Backwards compatibility, that was a big seller, right? So details have not been officially confirmed, or users will basically get digital entitlement for the game by putting it in the Xbox with the disk drive. That entitlement is specific to each disc, and it would belong to that Xbox user across the systems as long as the disc isn't sold or lent to another user. If someone else were to put a game in their Xbox console, they would then get digital entitlement. Okay, according to the report, the entitlement would work just like other digital purchases from Xbox. This means users might be able to play it through cloud streaming. And if they play Anywhere game, it would also have all the same accessibility on the other devices like PC or handhelds like ROG Ally. Okay. Negative side is that they would seamlessly only work for games released on the Xbox Series X and some that also came out on the Xbox One. This means physical Xbox and Xbox 360 games that are currently playable on the Xbox Series X won't be eligible for digital entitlement or Project Helix. Now, I do understand that how far back do you want them to go? Should a brand new system play every single game that they've ever created? It's a little different like on a PC, right? Because PC's been PC. But console after console after console has changed dramatically over the course, right? So is it too much to ask as a customer, right? I'm not protecting them. I'm asking a question. Is it too much to ask for them to keep supporting the games from a Xbox One or Xbox 360, Xbox One in the newest console? Or is there a time frame? Now, we have no consumer protection. No customer protection, okay, at least in the United States. And I have my Xbox 360, which, plays the Xbox One games. I have an Xbox One, which can be played on the Xbox Series X and S. So I have systems that can go back and play my older games, which I do time to time, okay? But owning a PlayStation 6, should it play a PlayStation 1 game? I mean, me personally, I think it should, all right? I think it should. You provided a product. That product hasn't changed. If I have a disk drive, I could take that disk and put it in the disk drive, and it should work, right? Now, unlike, as Albany says, Series S can play GameCube, right? If Nintendo, obviously, they made a small disc for the Wii or for the GameCube, and they made different things for the Wii U, and then they made different things. I get that. That's completely different, right? Because they changed the format. But PlayStation's been disc the entire time. Xbox has been, CDs the entire time. So should they be able to play their old games? They should, but they don't want you to, because the most valuable currency for them is time. And if you're playing your old games, that means you're not buying new games that they're investing their money into, and the formats that they're investing in, if that's digital, if that's cloud gaming, if that's Game Pass, if that's PlayStation Plus, right? They don't want you to play your old games because that means they don't have new games selling to you, right? So I believe that you should be able to play your games. And I think you guys would agree that they made it, so they should be able to do it, unless they've changed the format along the way. Now, obviously, your Switch 2 can play your Switch 1 games, but it can't play the Wii games because it's just different, right? So let's continue here. It says Xbox has now officially confirmed plans for digital entitlement program, but the feature is apparently in testing phase. A lot of gamers are unhappy about the prospect of abandoning physical media, but the option might ease some frustration. Xbox has struggled in the current generation, and the company will need the most passionate users to make Project Helix a success, ensuring that the current users don't lose access to games they purchased over the last 6 years or more, and could help regard. There's a lot of questions left unanswered about the next Xbox RAM shortage, but it's also could impact Project Helix price. The Xbox has found ways to convince lapsed fans that they also still value the company's products without the release window. In full details, though, fans could also be going to have to wait and see exactly what they expect from the new system. So, what if I was Xbox right now? If I was Asha Sharma right now, PlayStation literally has opened the door to you. Has opened the door to you, right? They've zigged, and Microsoft should zag. Okay, Microsoft should 100% do what they did, what PlayStation did to Xbox back in the day, right? Don Matcher came out and said, if you don't like it, you can still play the 360. Okay, the Xbox One was the one that basically destroyed Xbox, where they were getting your DRM. They were getting rid of stuff. And PlayStation's like, this is how you share. And they just handed a plastic box to the other guy. And they won the entire population of gamers around the world. And that's why PlayStation was very successful, because they respect the consumer. Now PlayStation is saying all digital. And they write the reports and tell you that, well, 80% of the people buy digital games. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But it was skewed a little bit, because during COVID, when they were selling their consoles, digital game were the only ones in stock. But miraculously, there was very little stock in the beginning. And 82% of the people that bought PlayStations early on were disk drive. And then as time went over, it was about a 50-50 split with PlayStation, with disc and no disc. Okay. Well, PlayStation stopped people from buying disc because it was more expensive, and then if you wanted the disc drive, you would have to pay extra money for it. So people were like, well, I'll just get digital. Xbox didn't have Xbox Series X's. Right? They only had the S's when they first came out in abundance. Well, there's no disc drive there, so they forced people to not have a disc drive. Then they came out with the Xbox Series X. It was, now that COVID, times were different. Now it came out. Now people could buy the actual Xbox with a disc drive and whatnot. But they made it this way. They made it this way because they wanted to go digital. They wanted to skew it towards the digital and then show you a stat and analyst going, well, 80% of the people buy digital games. Well, yeah, because that's what you're pushing. You're skewing the things towards that way. A lot of people still want physical. My biggest thing about this whole entire thing is choice. And because we have choice, it makes competition. And because there's competition, they don't screw us over because we can get it somewhere else. The only reason there's sales and stuff, people on console like to go, well, Steam's all digital. Yes, Steam is all digital. Computer is all digital. But there's still multiple places that you can buy the game to play it on your PC. And then if I buy a new PC, I can take all that stuff and move it over to my next PC. You can't do that with console. Okay? So they've skewed the thing. It's not about just physical digital media. Digital media is fine, right? I'm not arguing that digital bad. I'm arguing and talking about choice. You have no choice. Once they take away the physical copies, there is no choice. And if there's no choice, they control, as Sarge said, bolts to nuts. Okay? They control the entire market. They can tell you when and how much they want to charge. You think $80, $90, $100 video games is the peak point? Oh, contraire, my frere. Okay? They can make the price whatever they want. They control the entire thing. They can tell you when the sale is, how long it stays in on full price, which is much longer, right? You're closed in the ecosystem. See, a lot of people on console, again, think that Steam is the only thing on PC and that's it. No, there's GOG, there's Epic, there's Steam, right? There's Amazon, there's Windows. There's so many different storefronts on PC for you to choose and buy, and they have to compete with each other. This is why there's sales. This is why Best Buy and Target, remember when they used to price match? Oh, well, Best Buy's doing this. They would price match. Why? Because they wanted to keep you, the customer, in their store. They didn't want to lose that sale to Target or Best Buy, so they would price match. That's gone, right? Absolutely gone. But people don't understand that because I don't know if it's the generation, the youngsters just don't understand that, and they need to be educated. Okay, without choice, there's no competition. Without competition, they control the entire market. Okay, but people on console will argue, well, no, it's digital. It's not about digital. It's about choice. Today, someone brought it up yesterday. I think it was Jax, right? Or Jag, right? He said, well, you bought Crimson Desert. Yeah, I did buy Crimson Desert, but I also didn't pay full price, right? I used the digital cards and got the digital game for $27. Okay, $27. Didn't pay full price. Okay, it's convenient, whatever. Now, if I want to, I can go buy the Crimson Desert disc, right? Or a hard copy if I wanted to. But the problem, or not the problem, is that I have choice. There is no choice if they get rid of physical, right? Customer protection is out the window. And I'm gonna keep beating the drum because people need to hear it, and everyone's like, "Well, it's too late now. It's too late. It's not, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?" There's 51,000 games that came out the last 3 years. 51,000 games. You could try every single game, and you would play it for 30 seconds, and you would still not have enough time to play every single game. Okay, 51,000 games in the last 3 years just on PC. Okay, plenty of games have come out. Plenty of things for you to try, plenty of indie games you don't have to pay full price for, right? Helping actual developers that are making video games, that one guy, two guys, five guys, right? 10 people, 30 people have made video games, and that would go a much bigger thing for them than what's happening with the AAA space. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Let me scroll back up here. Kyle says, like I said before, I hate modern gaming. Shadow says, yeah, no thanks. Xbox at $1,000 price tag. Albania says, how much money are they losing going all digital? It has to be billions. What do you mean, losing money? What do you mean, losing money? They make 90%, if not 100% of that full game. They don't make 100% of the physical game. Gaming is the most profitable it's been ever, but they have to raise the prices because they have to keep their lights on. Jesse Max says they got to make physical copies like your game's license, just like the digital ones. Shadow says I already know the fraction that will actually quit is small. Most will accept this and take it up to the butt from Daddy Corpo. What's going on, sinners? Jason says Xbox isn't that smart to do that. If going back to that, Jason, if Xbox said, you know what, we're keeping physical, that's all they have to say. We're keeping physical, right? Even if their new Xbox doesn't have a disk drive built into it, they could sell a separate disk drive, just like Sony did for the PlayStation. They could just come out and say, we're not getting rid of physical. You can still buy a physical on Xbox. That's all they have to do. Kyle says exactly. It won't happen. They just want the money and control, no middleman, stuck on one platform. Yep. If you guys don't like choice, by all means, continue buying. I know you want to play the latest, greatest games. You don't want to think about it. You just want to bury your head in the sand and be like, nope, everything's fine. Everything's fine. right? This is my hobby. I love this hobby, right? I love video games ever since I was a little kid, since 3 years old. Okay, I don't go out in the thing and protest out in the streets and stuff, right? But hell, if I sit here and let people just take my hobby away from me, go find your own fucking hobby. People fly by night suits come into the thing, right? Hijack my childhood, my thing. I'll gatekeep all day long, right? This is my hobby. These people came in late and they're destroying it. Sarge says, it's pirate time, boys. Cracks knuckles. Been a long time. But we got to do what we got to do. What's going on, Mr. Z? Clip says, exactly. PC has way more choices to get your digital stuff. There's always legal ways, and there's not so legal ways. Both ways can keep it. Right? Why would I, right? Why would I buy a console ever again? Because if I buy Xbox, I'm only buying Xbox, right? And I'm only playing Xbox. They're all digital, right? Why would I buy PlayStation? Just so I can get the first-party games that come out with, 6 games, first-party titles for the entire console generation, maybe 10? I could play all third-party games and get them for cheaper on PC. You know what will happen if everyone moves to PC? Well, Xbox has already made that shift, right? They don't care, right? Because if you buy the console or not, it doesn't matter because you can play their games and play their games over on PC, right? PlayStation would be like, where did everybody go? Where'd everybody go? Oh, I guess we're putting our games back on PC now. We're not making any sales over here on PlayStation. Somebody says kids today grow up on online only. Their favorite games are online Fortnite. But they have choice. They have choice where to play Fortnite. They can choose to play Fortnite in multiple places. Play on the phone, play on the thing, right? That's not the same example of taking it away and just saying it's digital and it's only played, you're in this ecosystem. Kyle says going to make billions more, but not better. The EU or the security. Sarge says bankrupt them. That's the only answer. Kyle says if you also force you to only buy games from them, they also have a better policy like Steam. Being able to return games after a couple of hours of playing, things like that. Jesse Max says 30. Most of the important aspect to who's writing reports of the gaming industry would also keep on tracking the lines of the numbers and lies after lies. History keeps on repeating itself. It never stops. Here's the thing that people don't really talk about, right? That I just thought about as I was reading your comment. Remember that article, chat, that we read a long time ago? I don't know if you remember this. I forget what it is. But remember when Sony had a patent? And they had these little... They were hard drives. And remember when I jokingly said, that's how it's going to go back? I said Sony is going to put digital games, and instead of buying a cartridge now, you'll buy a digital game, but it'll be on a hard drive, and that hard drive will just say, like, God of War on it, or, right? Because the games are getting so big, it'll be like 200 gigs, right? 300 gigs, 500 gigs. So, like, just picture, like, Grand Theft Auto 6. You're buying it digital, right? You're buying it digital, but it's just a hard drive. You just, like, a card-in slot thing again, right? That's where they're going to have to go. Otherwise, they're going to have to make the hard drives inside these consoles, 5 terabytes, right? My buddy who just bought an Xbox is like, I only have 800 gigs on here. How many games can I put on there? I said, it all depends. I was like, if you get Call of Duty and stuff like that, you can put like 5 games, right? If you get smaller games and stuff like that, I have like 26 games on my internal hard drive, right? You're going to run out of space. And then convenient, right? Because digital is convenient because you can just start your Xbox or PlayStation and just play your games. Well, now you're going to be like, well, I can't play that game. I want to play this game. Well, I have to delete this game. Then I have to upload that game. And then I got to wait for the download speeds and stuff like that. And if people don't have, good speeds, well, it takes a really long time to download a game. Mr. Luke says, well, CD, Arc Raiders, and Marvel Cosmic Invasion are Play Anywhere, so available on PC, even though I got it on Xbox. Paper says, I don't want to fire the HR biddies. Mr. Luke says, looking on the library, and 27 are Play Anywhere. I'm good for more to PC. That's exactly right. You don't need to buy new stuff. You have games right now that you can play, and you can play anywhere. The business model for them is a much better thing right now. Kraken says, my favorite part about this is all of the fast food chains like Domino's, KFC, absolutely cooking PlayStation on X. I saw a couple of them. Digital Pizza. Someone else did it. There was another company that was doing it as well. Couple of companies out there doing it. Paper says, I'm still salty about getting the PlayStation 5 2 months before the tsunami came to PC. Those assholes turned me into a pirate. I said I would never do it. They made me. Your origin stories, right? Your origin stories is that Sony made you. Shadow says, some may move to PC, but not as many as the internet would have to believe. Here's the thing. Console gamers are the smallest. There's 250 million people that play on console, and that's an overlap between all three systems because obviously, if you own an Xbox, you own a PlayStation or a Nintendo, or you own a Nintendo and a PlayStation, or you own a Nintendo and an Xbox, and you also own a PC. Okay, there's billions of people that own PCs. There's only 250 million people that own a console. Consoles have been going down and down every single generation, okay, since 2008. Back to cartridges. Yeah, it'll be like a cartridge. It'll be hard drives you have to swap out. John Dolphin. Yeah, I did tell him to buy the SSD expansion slot. Crowd says, imagine how bad the PlayStation Store is going to be in the future. I have no incentive to put games on sale now. Right. They'll be like, oh, no, they put it on. People justify now, Crowded. They're like, no, they put them on sale all the time now. I'm like, yeah, because there's still competition now. There's still, you could get that game, right? A hard copy in a box store, or you could buy it on PlayStation. They're like, well, we got to put it on sale because there's still copies out in the wild. Crowd says console gamers were fucked. I understand that they are in denial right now, but it's over. A Sony executive said during a PlayStation 4 Pro era that they also made it because they saw people moving to PC. Jesse Mack says in GTA 6 has 123 gigs. Someone have to slow down their speed. They also wait a week to play it. Oh, I think it's going to be bigger than 123, isn't it? It's going to be a big game. Let's go to Mikey Barra right now. Let's go to Mikey Barra. He had a little post here that I read this morning, and I was like, all right, well, let's read. So Mikey Barra is the ex-Blizzard dev, Microsoft, and whatnot. He usually has really bad takes. So I was like, all right, I didn't read this whole thing, but I was like, all right, let's see what he has to say, right? Because this is the whole PlayStation thing, digital games. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Okay. It says it's sad to see it happening across the entire gaming industry. I guess it was going to happen at some point, but I didn't think it would be this soon. Here's the thing. I love when people are just like, it's going to happen anyway. So we might as well just give up. You might as well give up. Why fight the fire? Because the fire is going to win. Who needs to spray water on it to try to save things? It could destroy everything, or we could fight back, right? Or we could fight back, okay? It says, I'm not a collector, and I only buy digital, so it doesn't impact me. What I personally don't like is Christmas mornings and birthday parties for young kids. Having to open up a game only to have to spend potentially hours downloading it, realizing a lot of people have faster bandwidths, but still. It's a real bummer. I get games and have patches, some larger, some are not so large, and the consoles require massive updates at times, etc. But fundamental magic. I felt the opening of my NES and how many other systems and the games at time went on. During Christmas morning, immediately playing games and partially what made me fall in love with the industry and be lucky enough to work in it across the platforms and games. He says, my likely unwanted feedback to platform holders. All right, well, here we go. Unwanted or not. You need to establish a digital promise for consumers. We can't live in a world where we fear our games will work in the future or not own everyone to clear vision of our digital locker. What gives the confidence of our games to actually of our games? And you don't get to just turn the games off. I get multiplayer games are different from single player games, etc. Okay, let's break that down for a second. There needs to be a choice. Okay. And the only way this works is if, again, this is not going to happen, okay, because it's digital. But my point is how Xbox is putting their Halo is the next game coming out, right? Halo, you can play Halo on Xbox. You can play it on PC. You can play it on PlayStation, okay? So you as the customer, let's say Halo is only digital. You get to choose. You get to choose where you would like to play Halo, right? Now, you don't have a choice of if physical or not, let's just say, but you have a choice on what console you want to play it, right? Now, it's an Xbox first-party game, right? First-party studio, but they're putting it on all platforms. So you as a customer can go, hey, you know what? I want to play it here. I want to play it here, or I want to play it here. If you choose one of them, you can play on two. If you choose on the other, you only play on one, okay? But you get to choose as a customer. Now, if you put a physical disc in front of somebody, and they can buy the physical disc on that platform that they want, if they wanted to buy a physical disc on Xbox, on PlayStation, on PC, if you still have a disc drive in your PC, okay? You have choice. There's choices for you to actually play, okay? Now, opening games and stuff like that, I don't know, and I'm not excited that Sony just closed, took away 500 plus games, or I'm sorry, 500 plus movies away from people. If you're a Sony guy right now, you can't look. And again, this is not me just shitting on Sony, right? Because Xbox does the same exact stuff. But if you are a person that's on Sony and you look at this stealing 500 movies away from people that bought the movies, right? Didn't rent it. They didn't go to the library, okay? They didn't go to Blockbuster or Netflix, right? They bought the film to put on their digital library, and Sony just took that away. You're delusional. You're delusional. Because Sony is going to take your games away from you. Why? Because they took your movies away from you. Okay? Now, again, multiplayer games are different than single-player games. Number 2, he says, you need to innovate game sharing. Lending my game to my friend should be as easy as handing him or her a disc, just like Sony did it in the past. It's possible to do. I've lived and looked into it before. As players, we should be able to share our games, and you can have restrictions on it fundamentally, and it's also just work 75% plus of the time, and friends and family of 3, 6, 9, or whatever number of solution others have in place. Mirror it and make it industry standard. Let me tell you, Mikey Barra, they're going to go the opposite direction. They're going to go the opposite direction. I said this on Fake Wizard News last night. I guarantee you, like what Netflix did, where they didn't want password sharing, right? Because they wanted every customer to have a thing. They will implement, because they're doing the biometrics. Remember, Sony has a patent for biometric stuff as well, okay? That when you get a face scan, fingerprint thing, voice activation, I don't know what they're going to do, okay? But they're going to do something. And when they do this, let's say little Timmy in your house wants to play a video game and dad's not home. And dad played the video game first on his PlayStation box. All right, we'll just say on the Xbox, on whatever console you have. And the biometric goes, oh, I'm sorry, you're not the person who bought this game. You're not eligible to play this game, right? And then now you're going to have to buy that game twice. So little Timmy can also play that game. Oh, and by the way, because it's now digital and only on their stores, you got to buy it twice at full price. Thanks for being a customer. Number 3, you haven't innovated with your console store in ages. You need to enable people to have open marketplace where I can sell my used games back to the community for store credit or cash. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not happening. The whole point is they don't want a secondhand market. It's not like they don't like it. They don't want it. They have no reason to have a secondhand market. You're a better platform holder. You can also take a fee. Again, this is not hard, but also have to put your legacy behind it and innovate to provide customer-friendly features for digital lockers across all platforms. Game developers will not like this, but being customers-friendly has to go both ways in here. And I used a game marketplace as much to have it in view. Now, I do agree with him that they should do this, but they're never going to do that. That would be fantastic if they did that, right? That's 100%. They're not going to do that. Number 4, let us showcase our libraries. As gamers, we love achievements, friends, profiles, game libraries, and some of us want to show off what we own and how we play it. Make a digital locker a feature that can share it and be proud. So he wants like a bookshelf that you can like share your games that people post on. I mean, I guess I don't really care about that. 5, community. Show us you have a plan for transition that you care about. Care about gamers. We will embrace the transition if you give us a confident trust and freedom to enjoy the hobby we love. Well, that's already gone out the window, Mikey Barra, because Sony literally deleted 500 movies that you bought. Do you think they give two shits about the game that you're playing? They don't. They don't. A movie is a much smaller amount of data than a video game. Paper says he wants a profile display like Steam. Just come on over. Exactly. Yeah. If you want that, Mike, just come on over. Come on over to Steam. All right, just go on over to PC. Let's look at the comment section here. It says literally just rip 500 movies from underneath people. Why would you trust a digital-only PlayStation? They are untrustworthy, so they don't deserve our backing. That's correct. You got to stop buying. Got to stop buying. Times changes, bro. It's been some time. You don't even give anyone your favorite bands, your favorite band CDs as a present. And by the way, gift cards are there for this too. I've won one, and it's a present anyway. Does Steam have to do this too? Well, they're doing most of the stuff over on Steam. But I love when people talk about Steam. Steam is just a business on a platform of PC. There's other ways to buy games on PC. I think people forget that. I think they think Steam is PC, right? Like they are, like they build the boxes now. Like they actually own like all the PCs. They think PC gaming is just Steam. Now I get it. It's a large portion, but there's other places that you could buy games on PC. You can literally play Xbox on the PC. Says they better start adding monster drives to these consoles or people are going to spend half their time downloading and re-downloading game titles. That's exactly right. Exactly right. If I could sell digital games for store credit, that would go a long way to making the next hardware more affordable. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. You think GameStop give you shitty prices for your video game? How would that even work? How would that even work? Let's take that for a second. If I want to sell my digital game back, first of all, why? The reason you sold your other game back is because you didn't want the storage in your house and you wanted some credit back because you were broke and you wanted to buy another game and it went towards the other game. Right? Now I get the price point. Why would I sell my digital game? What, to remove it off my hard drive? I can just remove it off my hard drive and then download it again later if I want to. You think you're going to get money back? What money would they give you back for that, for store credit? At least GameStop's giving a physical thing, and they're like, yeah, we can resell this. No one's selling your game back. And like PlayStation's not going to buy your game back from you and be like, oh, by the way, we're going to resell this used copy of a digital game. Like, what are we talking about? How would that even work? We're worried about monopolistic practices, monopolistic practices and behavior, and you're worried about Christmas and birthdays. The local retail staff I have relationships with thinking about picking up Star Fox last Thursday. I was excited and chatted with the staff. Now I know for 25 years, it was a huge implication for the entire industry. That's a whole other point that people don't talk about. The community aspect of, even though we joke about that nobody goes to GameStop, GameStop still sells games. They read a stat yesterday. It's only 18% of their total of selling games and whatnot. But the whole point is that there's that camaraderie, right? There's that community that you talk to your people that work at GameStop or Best Buy and you bullshit, you banter with people. That goes out the window if everything just goes completely digital. And again, for me, it's about the choice. It's about the choice, right? To go back to this, right? There's no competition if they go digital. The prices stay high. Okay, GameStop completely gone. It's not even a game store anymore except for retro games, right? There's no more bargain hunting after this certain point. Bargain hunting for games up to the point where there's no physical, right? But then there's this whole section that's not there anymore. And then no preservation. Zero preservation for video games. You guys ever think about, like, in history, right? There's a bunch of books. And before the printing press came and the copies and stuff like came, people had to handwrite the books over. That's how they had a second copy. Like, someone wrote a book and then someone rewrote that book, and then there was multiple books, and then they kept them in archives, and they're in places that history, so we can go back and look at certain things. And a lot of people don't think that gaming is art. Well, it is art. It's just as much as art as music, just as much as art as television and TV. And for some strange reason, we archive movies, we archive television shows, we archive music, but we don't care about games, which tells you that the people running the game industry don't really give a shit about games. Because if they did, they would be able to archive stuff, right? That's a huge thing. There'll be a world when your kids have kids, and they won't even know anything that happened between the years of 2026 and whenever, there'll be no history of video games at that point. Be like, yeah, back then we went digital. What games did you play? Doesn't matter. It's just out of sight, out of mind, right? No history whatsoever. One of the coolest experiences I had, one of our science centers here had the gaming history, right? And you would walk in, and they showed you from the beginning of gaming all the way through, and you got to play they had multiple consoles, and you got to play. It was awesome seeing all these different games, right? And all these different systems, and seeing the history of it, right? There's none of this is going to happen. We should be able to be preserved. Just like if I take a movie, it's my movie. I can put it into a ripper and rip that movie onto a disk drive, and that's my movie to make a copy for myself. Now, if you're mass producing them and stuff, you're doing stuff against the law, which, if you get caught, you get caught. If you don't, well, but you're not allowed to make copies for sale, but you're allowed to make copies for yourself. Ron says, my grandkids will know about the legend known as Concord. All right, so let's go from that. We're going to move over because we got three things, right? We're going to watch what happened to multiplayer games. Actually, you know what? Let's go with Laura Fryers first. We'll go with Laura Fryers first. Okay. Laura Fryers is a short video. It's 10 minutes long. Why Xbox Studios keep failing the Freedom Trap. Okay. If you guys like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and please go to her channel. Give her a like. Like I said, links in the description down below. All right, so this is Laura Fryer talking about why Xbox Studios keep failing. The Freedom Trap.
We've all heard the dream. Give creative studios total freedom and they will make magic. But at Xbox, that dream has turned into a very expensive nightmare. This is what I call the Freedom Trap. Creative freedom is incredible. It's completely okay to explore niche ideas, tell personal stories, or even include messages the publisher wants to see in your game. That's your choice as a creator. The issue isn't what you make. The issue is when you explore higher risk or niche topics, but still build the team, the budget, and the timeline as if it were a mainstream blockbuster.
Right. Games like this, we actually had this conversation, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Right, the budgets of these games they're putting out on Xbox, right, with Double Fine, with Keeper, with South of Midnight. There was another one they did, the Killing, right, Redfall. All of these games that they had studios work on, and the budgets were too high. They're not selling very well, and they're on Game Pass. Okay, they're not going to thrive. One, because you're not putting them out, and you're pushing them onto Game Pass. Okay. And not many people bought the game, so they're not high profile, and the budget's way too high. You got to make sure that your budget's like South of Midnight was $100 million. You can't put a $100 million game. Now, I don't know if Keeper was $100 million, but South of Midnight was a $100 million game. You can't put a $100 million game on Game Pass and think you're going to make it, especially when you don't have the numbers of consoles out there.
It's when you don't test those ideas early with real players.
Right. 670,000 copies break even. Team cost only. Look at this. Video Game Insight. Right. Is that the game for Keeper? Is that what it made?
To see if there's actually a market before making a blind commitment. Everyone could see that Keeper was a short, surreal, artistic, niche game. Yet nobody seemed willing to have the hard conversation about realistic expectations and scoping the project accordingly.
You know, he's just like, what's the most unpitchable idea that I could present to Microsoft, who's stuck with us, and see if they approve it? And it did. And so we're just like, okay.
Wait a minute. Is there a video of them talking about this? So they just made the most absurd thing and said, okay, we got the gig.
What's the most unpitchable idea that I could present to Microsoft?
So did they not want? Okay, the most. What was the word she used?
Like, what's the most unpitchable?
What's the most unpitchable idea? Meaning, did they want to make the game? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you go into a business and go, what is the shittiest business I can open right now? What is the shittiest business I can open right now? And how can I get investors to do it? Oh, shit, they gave it to me. Well, now I got to do it.
Idea that I could present to Microsoft, who's stuck with us, and see if they approve it. And it did. And so,
you know, guys, I don't really talk much about the DEI stuff. But this one girl in this one picture represents everything everyone talks about. Like, everything.
we're just like, okay.
You have to scope the project and the team size to match the commercial risk. Otherwise, you're not being brave, you're being reckless with other people's careers. Imagine you're a parent watching your kid play near a busy street. You want them to explore, be creative, take risks, learn.
Yeah, but
you don't want to be a helicopter parent who controls every move. But if you're too hands-off, that kid can run straight into traffic. Good leadership, whether you're a parent or
leadership, management, you know, things that people need. Otherwise, they make games that they didn't even want to make, like Redfall.
or running a huge gaming division is that constant, difficult balancing act. You give autonomy, but you also set clear boundaries and step in before things go off a cliff.
I have a pretty strict rule about not sticking my nose into game design. I am here to tell you, and I will say, that our goal is to change as absolutely little about this studio as possible.
Yeah. Let's break that down for a second, okay? If the studio was making, I don't know, this is Double Fine, right? But they walked in and just hear what he just said, right? He said probably the exact same thing to Redfall. Said the exact same thing to Redfall. Ready?
Our goal is to change as absolutely little about this studio as possible.
So now again, I know this is Double Fine, but just imagine that person said the exact same thing to Redfall, and the developers at Redfall were like, please, no, we don't want to make this game. We're not coming in to change anything. We want you guys to keep doing exactly what you're doing. We're like, we need help. We don't want to do this game. This game is bad. They're like, you got this. You got this. It reminds me of like Office Space. Like the people don't really know what they do. Like, so what do you do here, Peter? He's like, I kind of come in. Oh, you're management material. Like, that's what I picture in my mind when these people come in.
That's why these jobs are so tough. Too much control kills creativity. Too little control wastes hundreds of millions of dollars and ends careers. And that's exactly what went wrong here.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
After Microsoft started buying up studios and doubling down on Game Pass, the message to a lot of teams became, go be creative, fill the service. Sales aren't the main priority.
Right. Which is what we've talked about in the past. Look, as a customer, Game Pass is fantastic. Right? Game Pass is fantastic because I can pay a small fee and get access to a shit ton of games I would never, ever buy. Right? But what we said all the way to the past, I said, if they don't have volume, then it'll hurt because they're going to put the minimal viable product of games on Game Pass because it doesn't matter if it works or not. It just has to fill the server.
Anymore, and then leadership stepped back too far. Many studios heard that and ran with it. They were growing their teams, they were extending their
Yes. See, they were extending their teams, meaning they were making a shit ton of money. They were all getting paid. They were all making a paycheck. They were all doing the stuff until they weren't.
timelines. They were chasing ambitious, niche ideas. They were doing what they were encouraged to do.
We're all going to get rich, boys. Keep doing what you're doing. We're all going to get rich. And I'm talking about upper management. Obviously, the devs get a salary. Upper management gets bonuses and shit like that.
How much were we expending? What was the goal? Little by little, we added more people, and it was like a train that we couldn't stop.
What is this video? I want to watch this video. Is this like a documentary on this? What happened?
Goal. Little by little, we added more people, and it was like a train that we couldn't stop.
But when the rules changed and the focus shifted back toward profitability, a lot of those projects couldn't stand on their own. And this is where we are today. I've been through many
Was that compulsion? Compulsion games?
acquisitions, and I've watched many fail. When a company gets acquired, they often forget how to run a business. They listen to the siren song of their new masters, and they lose what made them great in the first place.
To pitch RAD, I very much developed RAD around the idea of making a roguelike because I knew how much money we had to get for it. I knew no one was going to give us that much money unless it was attached to an understandable genre that was making money at a small scale. I like roguelikes. It wasn't like I made something I didn't want to make.
Look at Double Fine in San Francisco as a clear case. Microsoft acquired them in 2019 when they were still a smaller, more nimble indie studio. After joining Xbox,
Look at this scene coming in, right? Probably the only person that knows what the hell's going on, that's with these group of
when
people,
they were still a smaller,
is Phil Spencer. He's like, all right, this is cool. Let's see what the game is, right? Everyone else walking behind with the
More
coffees in
nimble
their hand,
indie.
right? Even Matt Booty's like, I have no idea what's going on here. I have no idea. Everything looks great.
studio.
Look at the girl behind Phil Spencer. She's like, oh, look at that. That's nice.
After joining Xbox, the team grew from around 40 to 60 people to roughly 100 employees in one of the most expensive cities in the world.
New Double Fine. We remodeled. This is our new.
I never understood why they show stuff like this. Look, guys, we remodeled. We made a shit ton of money. We remodeled. We're very successful. Oh, by the way, we can't afford this.
Space. This is Suite 208. We have a multi-purpose board game area and yoga space.
Please tell me, this is Double Fine. Please tell me you don't think Dead Bungie blew more money. They have a board game space. Guys, do you have a board game space and a yoga space at your job? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? How does any work get done at this place? Be like, hey, Mike, do you got the shh. I'm doing yoga right now. You're breaking up my chi. Like, the fuck are we talking about? This is a game studio, right? Mr. Z says, no, I don't. This is why I quit. Well, this is why you should get one of these jobs, Mr. Z. Like, what are we talking about? Ford says, I work from home, so yes, I do. Yeah, no, that doesn't count, Ford. I'm talking about at the actual facility you go to every day. After you're done with your yoga, you play a little bit of Catan. And after Catan, you go get your espresso bar. Maybe get a little massage afterwards. Then you have some lunch. And then we make a video game. What are we talking about?
Since then, they've shipped Psychonauts 2, Keeper, and Kiln. Both Keeper and Kiln peaked at only around 190 concurrent players on Steam. They got decent Game Pass trials, but almost nobody bought them at full price. Keeper did pick up some awards and nominations for its art direction, its visuals, and accessibility, but this is where the industry bubble comes in. Games can get reviewed well and even win awards while having very little commercial.
Congratulations. I love how people make stuff to get accolades and stuff, right? They're like, oh, we made the game. We got the best. I don't know if you guys saw this. We got 10s on Metacritic. We won 3 awards. Oh, how many games do we sell? That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We have a yoga facility. Did you know we have a yoga facility? And that's where we have our awards. Oh, what? We're closing? Oh, what happened?
Commercial success. You saw this with Mixtape. It's already getting early awards buzz, despite modest sales and plenty of debate about whether or not it even feels like a traditional game. Remember when Phil Spencer talked about Redfall's pre-release mock reviews? He mentioned they were internally expecting high 80s, but the game landed much lower. That's a classic bubble problem.
On the score, yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would.
Double digits lower. I remember talking about this when we had it. Double digits lower. Maybe you have double digits lower. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Arcane Studios has a yoga facility too. Maybe they have a Starbucks inside. Maybe they're doing a whole bunch of other things except, I don't know, making a fucking video game. And I love when people are like, well, it's just a game. Yeah, it's just a game to us, but to them that's the product. Right? Oh, it's just a tire company. Oh, it's just a manufacturing plant that makes cheese. It's just cheese. Yeah. To you, it's just cheese. To the person making the cheese, it's a fucking gigantic business. And it's their whole lifeblood. Right? Maybe in video game companies, you should make video games.
But here's where it gets complicated. It's easy to look at numbers and blame corporate greed. And sure, there's some of that. But I've lived this exact...
Mr. Z says, oh no. There's a room reservation conflict with Magic the Gathering group and the yoga group.
Situation. At one point, I was running a bunch of studios and we had just acquired 2. And they couldn't be more different. One was focused and successful, and the other one was a cash fire with a very ambitious project. When we toured the successful studio, they actually had buckets on the rafters so that when it rained, they could catch the water. The other studio had just moved into one of the biggest, most expensive waterfront offices available.
I don't know which one I like better. I think the people with the buckets holding water in so it doesn't spill on their stuff, I bet you they're getting work done.
We immediately got to work fixing both, upgrading the leaky office and getting the other studio out of their expensive lease and into a more reasonable location.
Right, Blanky? I think the people with the leak in the roof are working, right? The people at the front office, waterfront property, they're getting more yoga classes in than actual content.
Was it easy to tell the failing studio they had to move? No, it sucked. Okay, I caught a lot of heat. People were really upset.
The failing studio was the one. The failing studio was the one with the waterfront property. Hold on a second. That's what I got from that.
The other studio out of their expensive lease and into a more reasonable location. Was it easy to tell the failing studio they had to move? No, it sucked. Okay, I caught a lot of heat.
They're like, wait a minute, we're moving. Do we have a yoga studio? Hey, wait a minute, we have to move the couches out of the way to have a yoga studio? These work conditions, man. I don't know if I could do it. The other studio has leaky roof. They're catching water with buckets. We'll move the couches. Thank you.
People were really upset. It was not fun. But I knew it was the right thing to do for the long-term viability of the studio.
Do you think everyone in this office right here is like, we're going to lose our jobs? We're going to lose our jobs. We're going to lose our jobs.
I wanted to keep as many talented developers as I could. So this isn't a new pattern, and it has shared accountability. Double Fine could have stayed leaner. They could have moved to a lower-cost location. Microsoft could have stepped in with clearer boundaries sooner. But that didn't happen.
The guys who are in charge, dude, look, Matt Booty and Phil Spencer, top-notch dudes. Super respect those guys. They're great. They're gonna come in, smile, point. You guys keep on doing what you do. Woo! We're gonna be like, yeah. 2 days later, Steve from accounting and Bill from marketing shows up.
Goddamn Steve and Bill. Those guys are assholes. They will fire you if you're not doing your job.
Then we have problems.
We saw some of the same issues with Redfall and Perfect Dark. Massive talent exodus, morale problems, slow progress, teams that even hoped Microsoft would cancel or reboot the projects. The red flags were everywhere, yet action wasn't taken soon enough.
No, they were like, business is normal. Yeah, Redfall's looking great. Matt Booty literally said, yeah, Redfall's fine. We're good. Told Phil it was fine. Then it came out and Phil's like double digits lower than what we thought. And they're like, oof. All right, we're going to move forward with it.
Enough. This is the freedom trap in action. Creative freedom is incredible, but it has to be managed. What Microsoft did was hand out broad freedom across the entire portfolio. They scaled up studios for Game Pass volume without keeping the old portfolio discipline that provided real oversight and course correction.
Today, we're double that size or greater. You know, we're part of a first-party organization.
What studio is that? They're in Seattle, they're in Illinois, and they're in Orlando, Florida. I'm trying to think. The one in Orlando is EA, but I don't think that. I want to know what other studios over here.
Today, we're double that size or greater. You know, we're part of a first-party organization. We're part of one of the largest content-producing organizations in the world now, and well on our way.
I got to check her video after this. I want to know what this video is. We should watch this.
To making State of Decay 3 with a much greater
Undead Labs
level of ambition and support behind us.
You can't lock in massive scope, long schedules, and big teams while expecting every game to work, especially when Game Pass makes it much harder to judge real commercial demand. Nobody, not Satya, not Phil, not Sarah, not the studio leaders, nobody put on the brakes when the warning signs were obvious.
I wonder, okay? I wonder if Phil, and again, I'm not protecting Phil. We're having a little, what if moment. I have to say, Phil's been in the gaming industry for the entire time Xbox has been there, right? 25 years, okay? Worked his way up and got to the thing. I wonder if he knew what was going on and was like, we can't do this. But someone's tripping over his shoulder saying, well, we have to because Game Pass. He's like, this is not the way we're supposed to do it. I don't want to do it this way. He's like, well, you have no choice, right? I would love, remember when the Tonight Show was being, if David Letterman or Jay Leno was going to take over from Johnny Carson, right? From the outside perspective, we heard about the stuff, but then you saw the movie and you're like, oh shit, that's a bunch of bullshit that went on. I want to see a movie of Phil Spencer and Satya Nadella, like the inner workings of Microsoft. I would love to see a movie like that. Even the movie with Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, that whole story, like they made a movie of that. I would like to see a movie like that, but with what happened to Xbox.
Right now, under Asha Sharma's leadership, Xbox is in the middle of a major reset.
Xbox will keep investing, but we've got work to do. You shared the numbers. We're not in a healthy spot. And so, next 100 days is going to be about resetting the business.
There are strong rumors that several studios, including Double Fine, are in serious negotiations and could be on the chopping block. This is the direct consequence of years of the freedom trap playing out. The bill is finally coming due.
We want to take bigger creative risks and create genre-defining games without the constant threat of annihilation. We want to make our own games our own way and not be told what to make and how to make it.
It's great to have that ambition, right? But to not have backing and to get the backing from a bigger corporation, they get to call the shots. Again, make a game, sell the game, right? If you think that your game, if it's very artsy, but you don't have a clientele that's willing to buy that, and it's not marketing because it's not appealing to the mass market of people, well, then you probably shouldn't back this project, right? If it's a small project and you want to make it a certain way and be ambitious and stuff like that, well, then you have to take the repercussions of it when it doesn't succeed.
This reset is painful and it's incredibly frustrating. A lot of talented people who poured years of their lives into these games are going to lose their jobs and see their teams broken up. It sucks, and it's okay to say that, but the correction was overdue.
Well, if they're doing it correctly, Jax, if they're doing it correctly, they shouldn't be using their money, right? You never use your money to start a business. Now, Cuphead, they had 2 people, 3 people with the music guy. They put their houses up for mortgage, right? They're on the line, but that's 2 people making a video game. That's not 100 people making a video game, right? There's a difference between 2 people making a video game and 100 people making a video game. It's different when a guy makes Minecraft by himself, or Vampire Survivor by himself, or what's that, Schedule 1 by himself. And when you're working with a complete staff, you have a building, you have rent to pay, there's a lot going on, and you need someone to give you money.
And it was always going to happen. Pain deferred is pain multiplied.
Hellblade was created with a small team of just 20 people and extremely limited resources. Imagine what we can now achieve with our whole...
See, perfect example. They started with 20 people, right? And they asked for it. They asked, well, now we can achieve, because now they're backed by Microsoft. And they're like, we could do a lot of stuff, right? But you become less creative, I'll be honest with you. When I worked on a bunch of independent films, and then I worked on an actual studio film, it's like night and day. Now, obviously, when you're on an independent film, you're like guerrilla filmmaking. Like you're using like a skateboard for your dolly. But then when you get to the studio, you're using an actual dolly. Right? You're not making makeshift stuff. Like, look at the difference between this, where they're doing
limited resource
handheld stuff that you can pick up for maybe $400 to piece that together, to compare to
Imagine what we can now achieve with our whole team of 100 people, backed by Microsoft, focused purely on Ninja Theory's vision.
And as the article that we read yesterday, right, putting more people on a project to force it out the door faster is not the way, which is Microsoft is what they're doing. They're doing that with the next Elder Scrolls, right? And they're doing that with the next Fallout. They're trying to push them up front, put as many people on the project as possible, and push out the door. But that's bad.
Avoiding the hard calls for years, they turned a manageable correction into something far more severe. Leadership is ultimately a trust but verified business. And they forgot the verify part. They also seemingly forgot that games is still a business, and this party was always going to end. My hope is that new leadership under Asha Sharma takes a hard look at what went wrong, that they have real postmortems, real changes to how they manage money and people, creative freedom, accountability. And if Xbox can do that, they can come back stronger. They can have healthier studios and better games.
I'm afraid we've come to the end of our time. Good night, all.
You feel like it's made you a better studio?
Right.
Listen how long he has to think about that. Director, do you feel like it's made you a better studio? I'm assuming being bought by Microsoft.
A better studio.
Well, I guess we'll know whether we're a better studio once we get out the next game, and people will tell us whether we're better or not.
Man. The Cost of Joy, the Compulsion game story. We're going to watch that. We got to watch that. Thank you, Laura Fryer, for bringing that to our attention. The Cost of Joy, the Compulsion story. That's interesting. I want to watch that. Does she have it in here? Double Fine. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Making Double Fine's Keeper. Behind the Briefing. Oh, we're gonna have to save these for I'll bookmark that. And we'll bookmark that as well. All right. The next thing I want to watch, I don't think we're going to watch DomGaming right now. Right? Because the whole show right now is talking about the digital stuff and the problems with Microsoft. He's got a video. If we have time after this next video, we'll watch it. The other video is called What's Happening to Multiplayer Gaming or Multiplayer Games. All right, we'll watch that. If we don't watch it today, we'll watch it next week. We are going to watch Mug Thief. Okay. He's got PlayStation just changed the game industry for the worst. I like watching this guy's content. Okay. I like watching his content. So if you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go down, go in the description down below, give it a like on his channel. If you want to watch his content without me pausing and giving you my thoughts and opinions, go over there and watch it. All right. Here we go.
Today, there is no funny intro, because today, lines have been crossed. Your rights as a customer, the respect that companies had for you, or at least pretended to have for you, are being challenged. Because today, PlayStation and a lot of the industry has gone full mask off. The headline is simple. Starting January 2028, PlayStation will no longer make physical copies of their games. There will not be any more discs. That doesn't mean games made by PlayStation. That means all games to be sold on PlayStation.
That's right. All games. Because PlayStation has a deal where anybody that makes a game for PlayStation, they produce their hard copies for them. Meaning they're not making hard copies anymore.
Platforms. They will no longer have discs. They're done. The all-digital future is here. The one where they get to control the entirety of the end-to-end experience and strip you of all sense of ownership. And the consequences of this for the industry are way larger than...
We're not going to sit idle here by video game retailers react to Sony's PlayStation disc axing announcement.
You might imagine. Physical publishing sites, distributors, logistics, all of them have just discovered that their jobs have an end date. And we as customers just found out that they're not hiding it anymore. They want us to not own anything and be happy. We already knew that. But now we know that they're taking active steps for that to happen. And almost as if to paint us a...
I know we use that quote, you're gonna own nothing and like it, but that was Ubisoft. That wasn't Sony, that wasn't Microsoft, that was Ubisoft saying that.
Picture of the future that they are trying to build with everything being digital. Alongside this announcement, PlayStation said that the servers for the PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita would be...
Well, that's true too. Again, they're shutting these down, the stores down. Now, this is different than saying supporting the games still that we talked about earlier. Like, if you're still supporting, I believe you should be able to play your PlayStation 3 games on your PlayStation 4 and also PlayStation 5 and then the PlayStation 6. I think you still should support the games that you created that could run in the disk drives and stuff for your new console. Okay? I do agree, though, that they don't need to keep the PlayStation 3 store open, because how many sales are they making at the PlayStation 3 store? Probably not a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's probably costing them way more to keep it open than they are making the sales each day on PlayStation 3. Now, the PS Vita makes me wonder if they're canceling that because there's another handheld coming out, which has been rumored, right?
Shutting down due to incompatibility with new payment options, which means that starting July 2027, all of your digital purchases on those two platforms cease to exist, and anything that you thought you owned, you no longer do. They are showing us what digitally owning content looks like.
Just Nuv says, quote, owning nothing and be happy. Original comes from the elite with his plans for humanity.
Like, at the same time that they are telling us that this is how things will be moving forward. All at the same time that people are complaining because they are revoking licenses for movies that people own on.
This is all I needed to see, right? And this is not the first time it's happened. They removed things off of Crunchyroll, didn't they not? For the people own, and that was the other. Now they moved movies. They're going to do this to video games. You can't convince me otherwise, right? if I was on Sony right now, this would be the last thing I own of Sony. I'm not on Sony now. The last thing I owned of Sony was PlayStation 4, but I will not be buying a PlayStation 6 going forward, right? Because I don't have any allegiance to anybody. I buy it because I'm interested in the product. I will not be buying anything from Sony because there is no option.
PlayStation Network. They are now telling us, no shame, no subterfuge, that the future is one where they decide what we get to do and for how long we get to do it with the things that we pay money for.
That's right.
And they want total control over everything. They want to remove all possibilities of choice for you as a customer, that it's not just that physical discs are gone, it's that every other storefront is as well. As per PlayStation's decision in 2019, no retailer is allowed to sell you digital codes for games, something that...
Right. Sony confirmed it will stop letting GameStop and other retailers sell PlayStation 4 download codes. Right? They're stopping that.
GTA 6 is getting around, but...
Amazing, isn't it? Let me rewind that for a second.
You digital codes for games, something that GTA 6 is getting around, but that won't apply to everyone else.
Why does GTA 6 get a pass? I wonder.
You don't get to choose anymore. And this comes fresh off the heels of Hideaki Nishino, president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, giving an interview to Famitsu in which he said that PlayStation is committed to revitalizing live service games, which on one hand...
Revitalizing. It hasn't gone down. Live service games are here. You just failed and canceled 8 of 12.
And indicates that they are aware that they are, well, not very vital, you could say. But on the other hand, also shows that they don't care. They believe that there is so much money to be made in live services that they are doubling down on supporting them with new first-party and third-party games in what is probably the most tone-deaf statement ever made in the games industry. Especially when you consider that this interview was published one day after PlayStation announced that they were gutting half of Bungie.
You can't write this shit, dude. Like if you wrote down and made a plan of like how do we break this to people, they're losing staff, right? They're going all digital. They're telling you that they're doubling down, tripling down on live service games. It's like, who is this? Are you okay, Sony?
Leaving the half remaining to work on Marathon and sunsetting Destiny 2. Still play.
Blonky says this is all Fortnite's fault. Unfortunately, this is all our fault. Blonky. This is the customer's fault. But the good part here is that the customers can change this. See, everyone thinks that we can't change this. Everyone thinks that we're stuck. This is it. That we can't, just have to go with it. You just have to go with the digital. You got to go with the things that you're not going to own. Well, if you're not going to own something, then guess what? Don't buy it. Because if you don't buy it, you don't own it either. Okay? And why am I going to give someone money if I'm not going to own something? So again, this is not just a Sony thing. This is for any company. If you don't like it, do not buy it. And I'm not saying you specifically, right? I'm talking about in general. We, the people, control the companies. We think we don't, but we do. When the movement happens, whatever it is, and it goes over the tipping point of there's 50-50, right? Of people that support something or don't support something. And then when it crosses over that point and it's 51%, 52%, it starts to roll downhill, okay? And more people, because there's more sheep in the world than there are shepherds, okay? And they buckle under pressure because they don't want to be considered that they like something if other people don't like it. If people stand up and stop buying people's shit that they get instead of just accepting it, right? The sheep will fold because they don't have any morals and integrity. They'll fold because that's what it is, right? You can see it all the time on social media and whatnot, right? A lot of people they're just weak. And when people get together, become stronger, and then when people go over the edge, they're like, oh yeah, did you guys, and they break. right? They move away. They're like, no, I didn't like that either. Yeah. And they'll change. There's people protesting stuff they don't even care about. They don't even know why they're there protesting, right? Someone gave them money and they're like, oh, here, right? It's the same fucking thing. All of this can stop as fast as it started, right? If you don't believe me, look back at 2018 when it went from 80% physical to 20% digital and it flip-flopped in 1 year. Why is that? Because we, the customers, decided that's what we wanted. Well, if you don't want this, don't buy a new game. There's plenty of games for you to buy. There's plenty of backlogs that you have to play. You do not have to play a new game. You don't have to play a new game for the rest of your life because there's so many games that have come out in the last 5 years, right, that you haven't played, and there would be new games to you.
Still up. Who knows for how long, but they would no longer be offering updates for it. They have essentially killed one of the few live services that they had that were successful out of the slate of 13 that they intended to release.
Well, Mug Thief, what they didn't tell you is that Bungie has yoga studios and way overhead, and they just were blowing money left and right, and we're actually working on a video game and doing minimal viable product, and it was costing Sony more money than to keep it open, and that's why they had to do it. And I know people are upset that Destiny is closing because they really like the game, but they were mismanaged by Bungie. And then when Sony bought them out, they're like, yeah, this is not going to work because we're going to be losing money on this company, so we have to prune the tree. They got to clean out the studio heads there. Okay, so Bungie, unfortunately, because they were making bad decisions for a decade before, leading up into getting purchased by Sony, is why Bungie's closing and Destiny is closing, because Sony was like, yeah, we want to make money, and this is hemorrhaging money from us.
Most of them ending up in cancellation with studio closures, by the way, like Bluepoint, if not coming out and then promptly failing. But don't worry, Nishino says that they're investing into new IP and also into supporting old existing IP that might need a boost. You know, maybe something like, I don't know, Destiny 2? So let me just remind you really quickly that PlayStation bet so hard.
This is why I think Sony does single-player games with Destiny. They don't get rid of the IP, but the live service of Destiny is just way too much money, especially when they have other games that are live service that don't need as much manpower as Destiny 2.
On Bungie, a company that they had to devalue twice through impairment, that they didn't just pick up Bungie, they also picked up the development team that left Bungie, that splintered off.
Yeah, whoever bought these companies, whoever said, yeah, buy this company and buy Bungie, that person should be fired by this point, if they already haven't been fired, right? Obviously, they won't tell you that, right? I've talked about this. The guy who left Bungie made another company and then sold it to Sony and got $400 million for it. And then Bungie screwed them over. So a combined total of like, what is it, like $4 billion total from people that worked at Bungie.
Into their own studio to make their own game. And that studio was called Firewalk. And that game was arguably the most important game of this entire generation, Concord. And with this stuff,
that was supposed to be the next Star Wars, guys. And unfortunately, it was. But not the 1977 Star Wars. It was the 2019 Star Wars, 2018 Star Wars?
Stellar track record. PlayStation is saying it loud and clear. The future is a digital one, where they control everything, and also you will be playing live services whether you like it or not. And if something isn't a live service, don't worry, they're gonna find a way to turn it into one. Because you see, a lot of this stuff is about reading between the lines. Taking away discs isn't about saving money for them. Even though they frame this announcement as them doing us a favor, they're just acquiescing to the things that we asked for. 90% of sales of PlayStation are digital, so we can convince the remaining 10%.
By the way, we don't sell PlayStations with a disc drive, but you have to buy one separately.
To come over to digital because that is the preferred one, right? This conveniently hides the fact that a large percentage of the sales that go through PlayStation are of course DLCs and microtransactions for live service games, the ones that they cherish so much. While that 10% physical sales accounts for first only things that actually go physical, but also mostly to those more old-fashioned games that people...
The difference for single-player story-driven action games and family titles, let's take 2023, which is an abundance of these games. 45% of Hogwarts Legacy sales, 49% of Assassin's Creed, and 45% of Resident Evil 4 Remake sales were physical in the UK. Meanwhile, Spider-Man 2 was bought more via physical retailers than digital ones, 54% physical. Although, that does not include console bundles. There was also fewer single-player and family games in 2024, but one of the bigger ones that also did launch, Astrobot on PlayStation 5, was 55% physical in the UK and nearly 60% physical across Europe.
Want to have on a disc things that are more traditional single-player experiences, the type that PlayStation had been known for a very long time. But of course,
yeah, I saw that, Dupless. I saw that. Someone brought it up earlier.
Of course, that number is only going to be 10% when not even Sony themselves are putting out many of those games anymore, huh? It's almost like the numbers are so conveniently skewed for them to make this decision and frame it as a logical one. But you see, a disc is way more than a way of preserving video games.
That's right.
Or a way of you having ownership of them, the ability to resell them, the ability to lend them to a friend and have them play a game of.
And I love people that fight against this. They're like, well, I don't sell my games and I don't share with my friends, so I don't give a shit, right? And the whole point that whole market exists is because it's physical. No physical, none of that stuff. And if you're a person that's like, well, it doesn't bother me, well, be prepared because you will pay even more because the price of video games will go higher than $100. They'll stay higher longer. And then when they put it on sale, you're still going to be paying $80 then because that'll be the sale price of $120 after they give you a 30% discount.
Owning something that has tangible value that some license attached to an account doesn't have. It's about what discs represent. The Xbox One failed because they presented on-disc DRM that prohibited you from lending your games to a friend, taking away the actual value.
And remember, Sony, and we talk about Sony ponies here, not all of Sony, okay? Sony ponies were like, that's right, in your face, Xbox sucks because they decided to do this. And then all of a sudden now Sony's doing the exact same thing. And now they're like, well, they had to. Everyone's just buying, they're just buying digital games all the time. It's just going against the market conditions.
Of the physical media. And because...
Sit down, clown. Not you. Not you, mug thief.
PlayStation with the PS4 ran a campaign saying that you do own your games and you can lend them. They almost won that generation outright. And here we stand so many years later with them not just taking away the disc, but taking away the larger thing here, the choice. Discs are a way for us as customers to choose what we prefer.
That's exactly right. I love that he just said that. Choice, right? I'm gonna beat this in the drum. You're gonna hear me say it all the time. Choice is power. Choice is power. If you have no choice, you have no power. You know who has the power? The one that gives you no choice.
An option for those with limited data caps or limited internet access to play their games. An option for those of us who don't want to be blasted by advertisements the moment that we power up our $600 console, or those of us who don't want to be upsold on PlayStation Plus features, or even for people who don't want to give PlayStation their personal data, in some countries that includes their biometric data, to a company notorious for...
Sony tracks record on cybersecurity. Okay, September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. 2017, hacker group assists the Sony media accounts, right? How many times are you going to get hacked, but you want my personal information? I trust you.
Their data breaches, discs, physical medias, alternative ways of obtaining your games represented choice. And PlayStation is saying that you no longer have a choice.
That's right. But the choice is no choice. If you choose the company, you have no choice. You've given up your choice.
But let me tell you something. I think that we do. And I think we should choose to not give them our business.
That's exactly right. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Right? Now, I know people are like, oh, you guys are being hyperbolic. No one's going to do this. No one's going to change. No one's going to... I am. I don't own a PlayStation. I'm not giving them business. Right? Not going to give them business. They're getting $0 from me. And the only reason I have Xbox right now is because that's the console I bought. But if Xbox does the same stupid shit, guess what? They get $0 from me as well. right? $0. If I'm not going to pay you full price, okay? I'm not going to give you full price money to not own my things. I'll pay Game Pass. I'll play for Game Pass because it's a great deal. Because it's low cost. Now, they keep raising the price. I'm paid off for months, okay? They keep raising that price. Guess what? They get nothing. And then I don't need to play anything new. I don't need Xbox. I don't need Sony. I don't need Steam. I don't need any of this. I don't have to play any of this stuff, okay? And when they start losing money and more people start saying, I'm done with this, they'll go, oh, please come back. We were just joking. We won't do that.
And I know that some people will say that I'm an old man yelling at clouds, that physical was on the...
I mean, I'm older than you. I think he's in his late 20s, early 30s or something like that.
Way out anyways, that grandpa should get with the times or go to bed. Some people will even say that PlayStation is doing this for our benefit, actually, and that it is good for us, as they claim.
I saw someone today say the reason that Sony's doing this is because Xbox failed. I was like, holy shit, it's a hell of a turn. They're saying because Xbox has no competition for PlayStation, PlayStation did this. There's still competition. You can still choose to purchase things from Xbox, right? There's people on PlayStation blaming Xbox for PlayStation's things. Fucking can't make this shit up.
And you can go ahead and defend the poor billion-dollar company as much as you want to. But if you do so, know that it's...
I missed what he said. Let me rewind here.
Times or go to bed. Some people will even say that PlayStation is doing this for our benefit, actually, and that it is good for us, as they claim. And you can go...
How is that good for us? In what way, shape, or form is that good for us?
Go ahead and defend the poor billion-dollar company as much as you want to. But if you do so, know that it's because you are okay being considered at best a number, at worst cattle, and in both situations, a cow to be milked.
That's right. Anybody that protects this, you are choosing to be a cow to get milked. I'm going to call you that. I'm going to call you a cow. Right? Trash night, you're now a cow.
Because this is not a sensible business decision.
No.
This is a declaration of war on the idea of what ownership of games is. It's saying that all we get are revocable licenses over which we have no control until all of our rights as customers are gone.
I said this yesterday in Fake Wizard News, right? It all started, obviously it didn't start at this point, but everyone knows it started around this point. It was only one thing of horse armor. Microtransactions, it was only one. I don't know what the big deal is. It's just one horse armor is what people argued about back in the day, right? It's only one. And here we are, all these years later, and everything is a goddamn microtransaction. It started with the one, became what the industry is today, because everyone was okay with the one.
Because while this announcement happened, Stop Killing Games had just received a third amended response from the ESA, the Electronic Software Association, which is fighting a legal battle for game preservation, for customers to continue to have access to games that they bought after a company decides that it's no longer profitable to provide that with service. And in that response from the ESA, Microsoft insists that Call of Duty and Minecraft private servers are illegal. You heard...
We didn't even talk about this yesterday, okay? This shows you that these people that are trying to ruin gaming have no idea what the fuck gaming is, okay? Where now they're calling... Microsoft literally lets you do this. Literally lets you make your own servers, okay? And yet, they're going to tell you it's illegal. Even though it's not illegal, but they're calling it illegal. What the fuck, I swear to God.
That right. Microsoft believes that the servers that they provide infrastructure for, the servers that you can go and make using their...
Yeah, download dedicated Minecraft server software on their own site is now illegal.
Download page with their tutorials on how to make your own Minecraft private server, those are illegal. That is their argument in court.
Because they're fucking morons.
Because private servers are a danger against the safety standards that they have. and I quote, that they create unsafe environments that are counter to the industry's commitment to fostering safe and fun gameplay for all players. Yeah, definitely. We have to build these safe and fun environments, especially for kids, right? Especially for kids. Who's going to think of the kids?
Hold on. As he's doing this, look at the article.
Environments, especially for kids, right? Especially for...
Right? Texas sues Roblox for putting pedophiles and profits over safety.
Kids, who's going to think...
Roblox wants deluge of children's sex abuse cases moved out of court.
Think of the kids.
We hunted alleged groomers of Roblox and the company banned him.
ESA? Yeah, that's what I thought. But hey,
But it's illegal. It's illegal to have a Minecraft server. I hate this fucking Concordian timeline. I fucking hate this Concordian timeline server.
Say they have the best interests of the video game
I don't know why I said server at the end of there.
Street at heart. But who are they to say what the game industry needs? Because they seem to constantly forget that they are nothing without us. We give them money for...
Listen to that again. That's good. It's a good point.
Heart.
It's a good point because I made that point.
But who are they to say what the game industry needs? Because they seem to constantly forget that they are nothing without us.
That's right. They are nothing without us. Not one business stands here today on planet Earth without the customers that made them who they are. Even my channel right now, right? The people that are watching me, right? As big as I am, right? Or as small as I am, okay? I'm here because of the people watching my channel. That's it. Customers are king. And for somewhere along the line, we forgot that when people say customers are always right, obviously there's people that are just assholes and stuff. But the saying stands true because majority of the customers, without customers, you have no business. And we lost that. We think that they can just do what they want. We can because it's an open market and you buy what you want to buy. Okay. And then people, defend their $4 billion companies. But we decide if a game is successful. We decide if a movie is successful. We decide if the art is successful. We decide if the business is successful because we use our hard-earned money that you go to work every single day to then spend your money on what you think is a viable product. And they just keep ranking it up. Right? They just keep ranking it up.
We give them money for the things that we want, not for the things they say we need.
That's right.
And if we don't give them that money, they don't exist.
That's exactly right.
Don't get it twisted. I'm not here on some hippie trip. Money makes the world go round, and I think that great games deserve great sales so that the people making them can have comfortable lives and be rewarded for it and allow them to make better games that we also buy. That, and I know this might be crazy, that just makes sense to me. But it's been a long time since that's what the industry has wanted. They have wanted more and more money every single day.
Man, it feels so nice to hear other people talk about the shit that I've been talking about for so many years. It really does. It shows me that finally, speaking earlier, there's like the tipping point. And I was over here by myself, okay, with a few other people, and now it's starting to tip over a little bit, where other content creators are starting to talk about this shit. Now, see, the difference is I have less than 3,000 subscribers. If I was the size of Asmongold, and I've been talking like this for years, would have a much different, rapport with everything, right? People would have heard this years ago, but people didn't care. But now they're starting to, they have the smell and salt. They're like, oh, holy shit, right? Now people are starting to wake up. Now people are starting to see what's happening around in the gaming industry, and not just the gaming industry, just in business as a whole.
They have turned this into an unending gold rush. And when they've run out of veins to mine, they turned around and saw us all glowing with a yellow hue. Because we've gone from buying video games that we own to being promised that digital distribution would pass the savings on to us.
Oh, God, remember that? I remember. Sarge remembers. We remember it every fucking week. Thursday nights, GXG.
To fighting to own the games that we have on disc to now not having discs and soon enough not having a choice. Because PlayStation will no longer sell physical games, but they also will no longer sell digital games anywhere that isn't PlayStation. Meaning that Amazon, Target, Walmart, GameStop, whatever you might have that might have carried actual codes, digital codes for a
just the digital codes. Now you don't even have those.
Digital product, be that on a card or in a waste of plastic boxes with paper slips inside of them, those are disappearing. The only way to buy a PlayStation game starting in 2028 is through the PlayStation Network. And that means that if you want a game, you have to go through the entirety of PlayStation's process, from their points of engagement to their different points of sale to their targeted pricing and whatever other fancy schmancy words made up by people who want to maximize profits that do not care about video games and definitely do not care about you as a customer. And none of these things are being fed back in order for us to have better games, to have better experience.
They make them less. Minimal viable product, and they sell you for the higher price, and now they can even get more money out of you because now there is no middleman. There is no middleman.
They're just being fed into a machine designed to squeeze. And this industry has long been at war with the greedy practices of corporations that are out of touch with their end customer. But this is the moment for scorched earth, and if you want to know how bad it gets, well, hi, I'm Mug, and if
we're 12 minutes in, he's just introducing himself.
If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. By the way, you're looking great. There has to be some positivity somewhere in this video, and you're looking great, and I do apologize.
People hate when he does this, and I don't understand why. He's just being positive.
For the lack of positivity.
I don't think any of you look great, okay? All of you look terrible.
On this channel recently. Somebody left a comment a couple of videos ago asking if we were still on this cycle of it's so over and we're so back, and I naively answered them that I think we were coming onto a...
Argus says, Mike, you can't over-deliver on your artwork, your passion project, because those shitty little customers will expect too much of your talent ability, right? You don't want to oversell yourself, right?
Quiet period that would let me work on some retrospectives and some interesting essays. But no, I couldn't even begin to imagine how bad things would get in such a short amount of time. But listen, if you care about ownership, about customer rights, if you care about companies being forced to treat you with respect once again.
And I say this all the time, right? If you're a person that doesn't care about this, cool. Keep your head in the sand and just continue doing what you're doing, right? You don't even need to be a part of the conversation. Just keep giving your money and keep doing the stuff, right? I'm talking to the people that actually want to make a change, not buy them. No pre-orders, no day ones, no full price for a half-ass game at launch. And this is AAA we're talking about. AAA, full price, okay? Where they constantly squeeze and want more and more. And now with the whole digital landscape, that's what they want. From beginning to end, they do not want anyone else getting that money. They want to keep raising the prices. They want to put more microtransactions, more half-ass stuff, higher prices for the consoles and stuff. Nothing. Nothing. They get nothing.
Again, please stick around and listen to the details of the plans that Sony has, of how they intend to change what video games are to serve their vision of maximizing profits. Because an informed customer is a smart customer, and that's what we need to battle these practices and shape this industry into something that provides us with what we love, good video games.
And people are upset about people talking about this. I don't know what's wrong with you. If you're a person that doesn't want people to talk about this, why are you going around looking for people talking about it? Just saying. If you don't want to talk about it, then you can come back. You can come back later. You can come back another time, right? But if you don't want people talking about it, there's something strange going on. Like, talking about things is how things actually get fixed. I don't know. I don't know how people don't know that.
Is how we defend the medium that we care about. And if at any point during this video you think what I'm saying is informative, is valuable, please hit the like button, because that helps this video reach more people, and I want people to be informed and to know how bad things are getting. And most important,
they've already been bad. they've already been bad. I've been talking about it for years, and now it's on your doorstep, and it's knocking on the door.
Important of all, what they can do about it. And if at any point you really like the way that I do this, the way that I cover news, reviews, essays on the industry, everything about this medium we love of video games, I want you to consider subscribing, but please don't do so yet. Make sure that I earn it. I hear people out there saying, subscribe, it's completely free, it costs you nothing. And I don't think that's true, because time is the most valuable thing we have. And so
hence why I always say thank you for your time, right? I used to say, if you're here for 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, I appreciate you, right? Because time's time.
these schmucks are here to disrespect us and to turn pretty much everything that we know into live services. They are here taking the first steps into a future where we hold no power, and I will not let that stand. So let's talk a bit more about it. So welcome. The first thing that we need to talk about is the fact that end-to-end control is an incredibly dangerous thing.
Yeah.
And you might have heard this referred to as something else, as a walled garden when it comes to companies like Apple. You've also seen how dangerous and violent that can get when it comes to legal battles and comments about monopolies and about competition and antitrust. But I think it's really important to explain these dangers in the context of...
I like how he does this. He puts like game things up here and then puts a little thing like, what is that? Just for people that don't know.
PlayStation. To explain, even if you are a person that only buys all of their games through the PlayStation Network anyways, why this affects you negatively. To put it simply, the existence of choice means that the different competitors have to offer better things.
Right. If you're already buying digital stuff, right? Again, digital is not bad. Digital is not bad. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face, right? We're not fighting against digital. Digital is going to be here. It's advanced, right? Technology advances. That's what happens, right? I'm not against digital only, right? What I'm against is the choice of digital only. If you want to make digital, but also make physical for the people that want physical, right? There's a huge difference. And if you can't distinguish between the two differences, I don't know what to tell you, right? Because if you have digital and you want to buy digital, great. But if there's physical, it controls. Because there's a physical thing and there's choice there, they have to compete. And if they have to compete with the box stores, then they'll change the prices. There's a secondhand market and stuff like that, like I said earlier in the show, right? Without that, there is no choice.
This is what allows certain games to be on sale at Amazon, or for GameStop to have trade-in bonuses, for Best Buy to offer deals to members, and all of those different incentives that these companies traditionally have. These incentives to get you, the customer, to pick them are now disappearing because there is no longer any competition. As soon as this goes through, your only choice is PlayStation, but that's not even the most insidious part of it. What comes with end-to-end control is that they can guarantee the entire experience of every single person buying any game, and they can control that experience.
Yes.
Currently, they need to at least make an effort of making the PlayStation Store competitive.
Right. When they don't need to do that, right, then what happens? Again, it's that whole scenario of my neighbor's house is on fire, but my house is on fire, so I'm fine. Until it gets to your door. And then you're like, oh, it's too late. Yeah, it's too late for you, but your next door neighbor can do something about it.
Be that in how accessible and easy, comfortable it is to digitally download a game versus waiting for Amazon to deliver it, I guess, or like stopping by a store and picking up the physical copy. But they need to actually compete with those existing avenues. But now they don't, which means that there is no incentive to make the experience even though...
Exactly right, Crowded. A lot of people on console, though, they don't know about Green Man, GOG, Epic Game, right? They don't talk about any of that. They think Steam is the only thing on PC. Steam is the best thing on PC, right? But 100% what you're saying here, okay? If you're on console only, you're fucked. That's it, right? There's competition on PC. There's no competition on the consoles.
The slightest bit nice. We already live in a hellscape where different tech providers, from Windows to, yes indeed, PlayStation, have saturated their machines with so much advertisement and AI-enhanced bullshit that We can't even use our machines normally. And if you think it's bad now, wait until they know that that is your only option. The end-to-end experience doesn't just guarantee that PlayStation gets every single cent that they...
And again, obviously his video is about because Sony said something, but this is the gaming industry. All of them, the three chocolatiers, Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox will all be doing the exact same thing.
Should, according to them, from every single purchase. It doesn't just guarantee that you can't resell your games and that when they feel like it, they can revoke the license, claim
at any time
that you have no ownership and therefore even emulation is prohibited depending on where you live, and that
that's a whole other thing. You can do emulation stuff on PC. Hell, I think you can do emulation on cell phones now.
They have the right to force you to rebuy the remaster of the game that actually makes it worse 3 years later when they decide to do so. It's that entire experience of buying the game and getting screwed over is now in their hands. So they can push you as much additional advertisement as possible. They can guarantee that anybody who is buying a game is connected to the internet, and they can serve them not just advertisements, but upsell them. That they can have different targeted marketing strategies to force different things in your face that you might like, and to force you through an experience that might stop you at every step of it and tell you, hey, this experience would be better if you gave us more money. Why don't you buy the Ultimate Edition of GTA?
Of course, Ultimate Edition of GTA, digital only.
GTA 6. I'm promising you that it's better than the other one. I'm promising because they designed it that way, and we're going to start doing the same pretty soon. Are you sure you want to buy this game? Because without PlayStation Plus Max Expanded Ultra, you don't actually get all the benefits, so maybe you should sign up now. And they can also use that sneaky targeted advertisement to give you bonus deals on stuff. And they can make the shopping experience a nightmare. One that if they still...
I'm sure they won't do that, Mug. I'm sure that Sony, good old boys, that they just love us as customers. I'm sure they won't skew the store in any way, shape, or form. I mean, come on.
Had competition, the competition that they have just unilaterally decided does not exist anymore, wouldn't happen. Because that would have to keep them honest. If their service were garbage, people might still own a PS5, but they would go get their games anywhere else. Even if that does still serve under the PlayStation and Sony umbrella. But not with this. Not with end-to-end control. What we're experiencing right now are companies deciding that we are not worth a damn, and end-to-end control in order to bleed you dry and strip you of any sense of ownership. And I've been banging on this drum for a really long time, but I think that if you...
I bet I've been doing it longer. I bet I've been doing it longer.
You want to at least feel respected as a customer, the best thing you can do in gaming is get into PCs. And sure, PCs are 99% digital at this point, but because there's competition in the market, they work hard to make you feel like a respected customer, and you still have options for preservation and ownership. And if you are looking to upgrade your PC or get into the PC market, I am proud to announce the first partner that this channel has had, because I only wanted to partner with a company
it's got a sponsor
that actually cares about their customers. And that would be Ironside Computers. And given the state of the economy and the market, what better way to celebrate that partnership than with something completely free? Ironside are running a giveaway campaign for their new A True Masterwork PC. A true work of art, the sorts of works of art that Ironside are proud of. Thematic to their own lore and designed by their in-house artist, one of the founding members.
What do they cost, like $10,000?
Members of the company. They are giving away this absolutely gorgeous hand-detailed PC. And this isn't an ordinary giveaway. Sure, you can go down into the link below and actually just click and sign up, and you will be entered into it. But there is also an ARG component. Thematic to the lore of A True, every week they are releasing new puzzles, and if you choose to participate in them and manage to solve
I see what you did there. Choice.
them, you'll have extra entries upping your chances of winning the PC. The computer is built and shipped.
Michael says, wait a minute. Isn't he targeting his audience for an ad? Yeah, he is. Gamers. He's targeting gamers because gamers watch his content. And now he's adding it because people that are on console that are gamers are like, well, what are my alternatives? And he's like, here's a PC.
By Ironside Computers in the US, and it comes with 3-year warranty, 5-year labor warranty.
It does look bad that he has an advertisement for a PC as he's talking about this.
And lifetime in-house tech support, where they promise to guide you in the right direction for your choices no matter what. And the giveaway itself is eligible worldwide with all shipping and fees covered by Ironside. And to me, it is that warranty. It is that commitment to caring for the customer. It's their commitment to making PCs with an aesthetic sensibility that I like that had me partnering with Ironside. Because
it's a cool looking PC.
I believe that we as customers
expensive.
deserve to be treated properly as customers, not as consumers, and Ironside believes the same. So check out the link below and enter the giveaway.
I would have to go to their site. I have no idea what Ironside is and how much their PCs are. I can tell you that that PC there, I think it even says it.
And you
hold on a second. I think it said the price at the bottom at one of the things. Yeah, look at that. That's an $8,500 computer. $8,500 computer. It's very customizable. You know, it's very custom made and stuff, but
that had me partnering with Ironside, because I believe that we as customers deserve to be treated properly as customers, not as consumers, and Ironside believes the same. So check out the link below and enter the giveaway, and you just might come out of it with an absolutely beautiful PC completely for free. And if you're thinking about getting a new PC, consider using the affiliate link down below and getting the treatment you deserve, and while you're at it, supporting the channel. And thank you to Ironside for...
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the ad on this, Kylo, myself. I don't do ads anyway, except for my own shit. And I'm terrible at that as well. Yeah, I wouldn't have done this on this particular video.
Sponsoring this video. And that, my friends, is the first time that I've gotten to segue not just a sponsor, but a now new partner of the channel into a video, but it's real. I think that you should invest into a PC. It's the fact that PCs, even though they are criticized consistently and people say like, oh, all PC gamers are people who just accept every wrongdoing that Valve might ever do. No, the reason PCs are important today is that if we are leaning into an all digital future, I want that future to include a real sense of ownership.
Well, that PC is a giveaway, Dupless. So that's what that is. I don't think all their PCs are $9,000. That's a giveaway PC that Ironside's advertising for him.
The fact that on PC
that he's advertising for Ironside.
See, there is an open market that you could go get your games at Epic or through, God forbid, the Amazon launcher. That's almost worse than Epic, but it's okay. That you could get your games on Good Old Games DRM free and keep an executable buried somewhere and always have access to a game. And yes, that...
Michael says, question. We're all against not owning and being happy. Why are you going to contribute to Game Pass? Well, if I'm not going to own something, right? I'm not owning, I'm renting. And I'm okay renting, because if Blockbuster was still open, I would still go rent video games because it's a cheaper format, okay? There's a point, at least for me, and I can only speak for myself, the reason I have Game Pass and the reason I like Game Pass is because I have an 11-year-old son that likes to play different games. And instead of buying out every single time he likes a game and spending full price, $70, $80, $100 on video games, instead I pay $23 for a video game or for access to 400 video games, and that saves me money. Now, as far as owning, if I want to own, I buy it. I buy the actual game because I have choice. And I have a choice to either buy it digital, or I can also, right, you could get 3 indie games for the same price. Sure, if I'm interested in 3 indie games, right? I don't know if you've noticed this, Michael, but on most of my games that I play, they're not full price. I don't pay full price for video games. The one video game that was full price, which was $70, which was Crimson Desert, I didn't pay full price. I had gift cards that I had on the Microsoft points that I got for free for just turning on my Xbox and playing Game Pass, and I paid $27 for Crimson Desert. All other games, I don't pay full price for games. No full price, no pre-orders, no day one for a half-ass game. That's AAA games. I do not pay full price for AAA games. I refuse to, because they're broke, buggy, and unfinished when they come out. As far as independent games and then other games that come out that are in early access or whatnot, I pay for that. If I pay $23 and I play 4 different games, fine. I played RV There Yet last night that I could have paid, I think, $12 for it and played it once, and maybe that would have been worth my money. Or I played it and that's it, and then I move on to the next game and the next game and the next game. Okay? There's a difference between renting your games and buying the games and still not owning them. Completely two different things.
Steam, so far, because competition exists, has a commitment to making games on PC run to a certain degree, that they are committed to making a more console-friendly experience for people moving forward.
Michael says, I'd rather buy Steam sale. Okay, great. How does my son play with me? How do I play with my 11-year-old son if I'm on Steam and he's on Xbox and we're not on the exact same thing? I got a Steam sale and I got to buy the game twice. Or I can rent Game Pass, play it on both our systems. It's a no-brainer.
And the fact that I can pick up pretty much any device I own at this point and play my Steam games with cross-save, with cross-everything on them, means that I actually feel like the service I am being given as a customer is good. And that's before I even mention emulation and how it is one of the very few ways that we have of having actual preservation of video games. And in some countries that actually stand by this, if you own a physical copy of a game, even if the company decides that you can't play it anymore for any reason, you are still entitled to emulate that game. Dump your ROM, play your game, and they can't say anything about it. And it might feel like we're splitting hairs.
On certain games, yes, Crowded. Like, for instance, I don't play Minecraft on Xbox. I play Minecraft on PC. And he has his own server and stuff, which is illegal now, by the way. And then we play on his server. He plays on PC, or I play on PC, and he plays on Xbox. So yeah, there are games that you can do crossplay, but then there are games that also don't do crossplay.
Here on what actual ownership is and what it means to respect the customer, but that splitting of hairs goes even further. I mentioned that it's not just about the end-to-end control of the experience, it is also about the plans that PlayStation has to keep supporting live service games, as said by their president. And
Michael says, not saying you're wrong, I just worry that one of the three will become a monopoly in the rental service. Well, there's still choice, right? If you have physical games, you can buy physical games. Because there's PCs, you have choice to go play PC. You have choice to go play console. You have choice to go play Nintendo. You have choice to play PlayStation, right? You have choice to buy hard copy or digital. If they take away the hard copies and just make it digital, that's a problem. Because then there's no competition. There's nothing that can compete there, right? Now they're all, as I've said in the past, they're all on their own islands, okay? You have Nintendo on their island. You have Sony on their island. You have Xbox technically on an island, but they're really connecting to PC. So even if Xbox goes that route, you could still play their games on PC or the console or your television set or your mobile phone.
CEO Hideaki Nishino. But I think that Nishino's comments about live services get a lot more worrying once you view the all-digital future that PlayStation is pushing, and once you see what he means by live service. The first part of that is that I believe that PlayStation is very aware that people do not like having their games taken away from them without them having any say or really any...
Cloud gaming is coming, Shadow. Right? It's here, but that's going to be the way. I'm telling you, that's what it's going to be. I know everyone always pushes back and says, there's no way it's going to happen. I'll stop playing video games. Well, then you're going to stop playing video games because that is what's going to happen. If this goes through where it's just digital, then it just goes to cloud-based, server-based, whatever it is, okay? That's where it's going to go.
Warning about it at all. And because...
Well, you better worry, Michael, because that's exactly where it's going. Hence why I say do not buy. You have to stop buying the games. You got to stop buying. You can't support them in any way, shape, or form if we want to change. And that's going to be that they're going to close down studios. People are going to lose their jobs. Well, it's because they chose to do this. There's no choice. So the only choice there is not giving them money.
Because the legal state of things is the way it is, we basically work on an honor system, and that honor is upheld by how likely a class action lawsuit could happen. However, they do believe that they can get away with making...
If GOG goes away and Epic goes away, then Steam would be a monopoly. But it's not, because there's other stores, there's other ways you could purchase it. It's convenient to buy it on Steam because it's all one place in your library, but it doesn't make any sense to me. I've always made fun of it, where it's like Epic's here, GOG is here, and Steam, your browser's here, and you go click, 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 right? But people don't want to move the mouse button down to here because it's inconvenient, right? It's convenient because it's all in one library. But there's choice on the PC. There's no choice on the other systems, especially if they all go all digital.
Live service games disappear. People seem to have a better grasp of that, and they seem to be more understanding when a live service game disappears. So if they want to be able to make every game disappear whenever they want, why don't they just make everything into a live service? I wish this were a joke. You see, in that interview with Nishino, he claims that Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, the new Arc System Works and PlayStation developed fighting game, is a live service.
Oh, is it? Well, I hope it's good. I hope people enjoy it.
And again, we come back to splitting hairs. And I think this is pretty cut and dry. Now, I may be wrong, but I think that live services are games that need to be alive in order to function. Basically, games that completely depend on their multiplayer component and on the servers provided by the company. And I believe that...
I would also be completely different, Michael, if I wasn't on YouTube, if I was just a normal person, not streaming and doing this for what I do, okay, I would have a completely different spending habit of, I wouldn't even be streaming games, right? Obviously, I'm a gaming channel, right? I do 30 and still gaming. I do this. This is what I do. I've been playing games. I play games because I love games, right? But I don't need games. I got plenty of other things I can do. Right? So I'll play certain things and I'll enjoy gaming, but I don't chase trends. I don't buy every single brand new game that comes out. Okay? Sometimes I'll try to get a code because I am a content creator. I'll reach out, right? I just reached out to Enshrouded and I got that code, right? I was going to buy the game, but before I bought the game for $23 on sale for the summer sale, I was like, you know what? Let me ask if I can get a code, right? Now, I'll probably buy the game, right, when it comes to console, because I like the game and I like those types of things. And I like to support things that I like. Okay. Minecraft Dungeons, right, was a Game Pass game. I bought all the expansions when each expansion came out. I didn't own the game right when it came out. And then I bought the game because I was like, well, this is stupid. I own the DLCs because I like the game. So I own the game. So now I own the game, right? I didn't have to buy the game. The game's on Game Pass, but I choose to buy the game, right? I have a choice.
That is not the case for a game like Marvel Tokon or for a game like Monster Hunter Wilds. Sure, these are live service games in the sense that they continuously evolve over time. They receive DLC, they receive updates, balance patches. Heck, you can look at Guilty Gear Strive 2.0. Sometimes these balance patches are incredibly transformative. But the key difference is that at the end of the day, when support is ended for these sorts of games, they still live on and exist as complete experiences. Sure, right. Sometimes the multiplayer part matters, but most of the time, they don't. In a hypothetical future where Guilty Gear Strive stops receiving new characters and new balance updates, and they announce that, hey, we're stopping the game here, this is the last balance patch, that last balance patch of the game, even if they discontinue support for the servers, will live on. It will probably be played at EVO 30 years from now. There will be a finalized release version of that game, potentially one that they could release on discs if there weren't.
Like my father used Blockbuster back in the day for me. Right? I used to go to Albertsons and Blockbuster, and I would rent video games when I got good grades and stuff on a test. Right? My dad would be like, "Hey, you want to go get a game?" I would go, "Yeah, let's go get a game." Right? And I would rent a game. Right? We used to rent games all the time. Well, you can't rent games anywhere. Where do I rent games from? You can go to your library. You can go to your library and rent games. That's what Game Pass is for my son, right? It's a place where I spend $20, now 23, where I'm not even paying that because I'm paying 20 because I'm paid off for months, okay? And that's what he does. He gets to play. I have had this conversation. When they went up to $30 before they went back down to $23, I said, we might not have Game Pass. And he's like, why? And I told him. He's like, okay. Right? He has games that he plays. But that's why I have it. Right? I'm not going to shun away and be like, well, I'm a hypocrite. No, I have it because financially, it saves me a fucking fortune.
Apparently a war on discs for convenient preservation of this final version of the game that still has most of its value intact. When Monster Hunter Wilds finishes with the Ascendant's G-Rank expansion, and they go through the entire song and dance of putting up all the new monsters and all of the updates for the G-Rank expansion, they will announce, similar to Monster Hunter World, that they're done. No more updates, no more nothing. And maybe one day the multiplayer servers will be dead.
That's another thing, yeah. When they go all digital, no more libraries. A lot of people don't even know you can rent games from the library for free. For free. So if I have a library card, your taxes pay for it.
Down as well. But if there is a version of that final patch of that game available without any online connection, you could boot it up and have a fantastic experience, a full, complete, satisfying experience worth the price that you pay for it, probably a price that is discounted because it doesn't have multiplayer features anymore. And as a lot of Japanese companies, including Capcom themselves, have been saying, it's about the longevity of these games. It's about having them available for years and years and years, including on stuff like Steam, where you can frequently have sales for them and push them that allows them to continue generating money. It's about the long tail of sales for not just years, but potentially decades down the line that makes a company that is making single-player games in their...
100%, Shadow. Yeah. If you go into a library and ask, hey, do you guys have this game? They're like, no. They'll go buy it so you can rent it. That's right.
Already sustainable. And in that sense, having end-of-life plans, or better yet, designing video games that one day, if there are no servers and no more updates, are still great and can still work and be sold for money, and they like money, right? Is a smart business decision. But PlayStation seems to be going the route of calling things live services, even if they don't strictly fit that definition. For sure, their original plans, their original live services like Fair Games and stuff,
Fair Games is done. Dead on arrival.
Those were of the nature that without servers, they wouldn't even work. But Tokon Fighting Souls? Calling that a live service is a stretch, and also a deviation from all of the other projects that they had said were live services. And that makes me very inclined to believe that their upcoming plan is to make sure that video games continue to have live services. At least some component of them is.
Yeah, it's true too, Eclipse, right? We actually, the library by us does have a 3D printer that you can use. Heart does. Thank you very much for the jewels. Appreciate you. Thanks for the 10 jewels.
Is live, meaning that they can continuously update these games and put up microtransactions and new updates and new things. Can't wait to log into Shadow of the Colossus 2, always online requirement, and they're selling me new skins for my horse. And if we keep letting them control the end-to-end experience, the entire thing from start to finish, until they start pushing requirements for online connection to play, they will tell you your game doesn't work unless you update to the latest patch that also includes all of the latest microtransactions.
What do you guys think Black Flag's gonna do? You think Black Flag is gonna sell a lot of copies, or do you think it's just kind of average? I think it sells like 2 million.
And this isn't new. Ubisoft claimed that this was the future with their Assassin's Creed Nexus thing, where they would have all of the Assassin's Creed games available through a Assassin's Creed hub, where you could have different outfits and unlockables that you could use in all of the different Assassin's Creed games across the Assassin's Creediverse. Tons of little battle passes and nuggets from each game.
Yeah, I would like to know what the budget is for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, because they have 15 studios working on it. 15 studios working on a remake. It's crazy.
Coming together for you to use in their multiplayer Assassin's Creed game, in the single player one, in the expansion, this whole future of a metaverse that turns even games that have no business requiring online connections to have them. And now it serves two purposes. Not only can they sell you stuff that you either don't want and don't need, or that should have been there from the start, but they can also say that because the game is a live service, once they stop supporting it, you no longer own it.
Crowd says Sony pulling off their 10-point games off of PC makes a lot of sense now. They have a long-term fuck you plan. I think they have their own browser. I think they're going to put their browser up on PC, and if they don't do that, guess what? They will, or they're going to put their games back on. Because if people stop buying because of the digital stuff, which probably may not work, but when enough people, their sales go down and they're hurt because corporate salute doesn't go up, they'll have to change their plan again. Remember, as the great Asha Sharma said, the plan's the plan until it's not the plan. And right now, Sony's plan is 2028, we're going fully digital until they're like, we're going back to physical.
When I say from the bottom of my heart that this is some absolute bullshit, I mean it. I've been around. I know where this is headed, and we cannot stand for it. PlayStation is looking to destroy what video games themselves are. They are looking to make them all digital services, things that we do not own and that slowly have no artistic value. Because it doesn't matter if there was passion.
Yeah, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face. Yeah.
Or artistry or good design put into a game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they can't do a half-ass job, Dupless. They can't do what like Epic did, right? If they're going to come in, then and Sony wants to make their own browser because they want to make the money because it's all going all digital, well, that makes much more sense why they took it off of PC where it's not on Steam. If they make their own browser and they're going fully digital, that makes much more sense.
It's not about crafting an experience that stays with us, that defines who we are to some points. It's not about giving more to a hobby.
It all depends on what provider you get, like what plan you get, Michael. If you get the lowest tier, it doesn't come with EA or anything like that. If you get the ultimate tier, which I do have, it comes with EA, Ubisoft Plus. You get Fortnite Crew. You get a bunch of different perks for it.
Hobby that means so much to people. It's about creating the most optimized business method to extract money. And this is just the biggest step in their master plan. And it is a step that we cannot allow to happen. So please listen to me and listen carefully. Last time somebody tried to do always online DRM, last time somebody tried to take away the sense of ownership that we have over video games, to erode what it even means, the backlash was
terrible and still hurting Microsoft to this day. Doing what Sony's doing today in 2026, what Microsoft did 10 years ago, is still hurting Microsoft today because of that.
So strong that it forced their competition that was in a losing state to pivot on something that objectively would have benefited them and stand by customer side. They never want to. That's not how they work, but we made them. We made it so that the smart business decision was support customers, give us ownership, and we will support you back. The tables have turned, and PlayStation believes that they can pull it off now, that the conditions are right for this.
Exactly right. They did it before, and we were like, no, we're not doing that. But now they're like, let's take a shot. Let's see what happens in 2028, because let's be honest, Nintendo, Sony, Xbox know what's happening in the future. They know where they're going. They know where what their strategy is, where they want to go, and it's going to be cloud streaming. That's what it's going to be in the future. And the next step to that step is going all digital.
But we have seen, it's been proven that if we make enough noise, that if we take our money elsewhere, they have to back down and either obey what the customer wants or disappear. And sometimes these mistakes are so costly that I believe the downfall of Xbox can be traced back to that one moment
I agree.
that they said that you couldn't resell a game and that you couldn't lend a game to a friend. Unfortunately, competition today is kind of slim because Xbox, at least now that their fiscal year is over, is probably going to be the subject of tomorrow's very angry video where they fire more people than have ever been fired in the video game industry. But that
Crowd said, Sony players better pony up. See what I did there? I did. You know what? I'll give 5 points to Gryffindor. 5 points to Gryffindor.
doesn't mean we're out of options, because we hold the power as customers and we can turn around and give our money to whoever we want. If Xbox somehow, through their nightmare of bad PR and the constant flailing collapse that they're going through, can turn this into something that they can use, support that. Support the company that supports you.
Yeah, but Roadkill, you should give a shit. Not because you're only buying digital. Buy digital. That's not the problem. I know you just came in, right? That's not the problem. The problem is there's no choice. If it only goes digital, that's a problem for you in the long run as well, because then the prices of your digital games will continue to rise. Okay? So when you say you don't give a shit because you've been buying digital, that's fine. But you should also speak up and talk about it, or react to it, because if you all go digital, you will be paying more money because they own the entire chain. Okay? So you do not want it to go all digital for everybody. You want that choice.
Continue to set a precedent that we have started and followed for many years in gaming. If Xbox can't do it, and the market is already screwed as it is, turn around and actually invest in your hobby in a way that allows you to take control. I'm not saying that it's the easiest thing in the world to get into PC gaming, but I am saying that it's getting easier every day. Get yourself a PC, consider it an investment and a protection in a hobby that you care about.
It is true, right? Because if you buy a PC, you're getting a lot more options that you can get, right? And you're also basically, you get a PC, you're getting an Xbox as well, because you can play the Xbox games over on the PC. You can play Nintendo games also on the PC with pirating ways, sailing the high seas and stuff. You can do a lot more stuff, and you're not just using it for a gaming PC, right? You're using it in everyday life of the stuff where your console you're just using for that.
Out and reap all of the.
And everyone's like, well, I want to sit on my couch, and how do I do it? I don't understand how to get the computer on my TV set, right? It's just called an HDMI cable. I don't know. It's crazy, I know. Right? You can put the PC in the living room. You can hide it if you're using it as a television box type of thing.
Benefits that we talk about all of the time about PC gaming. I'm hesitant to say this because Nintendo and their game keycards piss.
That is true, and majority of the old PlayStation games. Yeah.
Me off, but at least they still offer a physical, tangible thing that you can lend to a friend or that you can resell until you can't download.
Yeah, how is it that Nintendo's winning out of this? How is it Nintendo is winning out of this?
Go to the game from the game keycard anymore.
They're like, doesn't look that bad now, does it?
Will happen. Don't worry, it's guaranteed. Go ask 3DS owners how their storefront is going, but go elsewhere. Go anywhere else. And this is all calculated. GTA 6 is...
No, see, Roadkill, you're missing the point. On PC, you still own your games, and there's multiple places that you can buy it and get better deals, and you don't pay full price. Someone that owns a console that doesn't play PC games only says, well, PC's paying more. No, over the long period of time, do you play online with PlayStation? Do you pay for PlayStation online? Of course you do, because you have to, right? Because you have to pay money to pay games online. Well, over the 5 years, you're paying just as much as the people that just own a $1,200 PC at the time. Same exact thing.
It's coming up, and that doesn't have a disc already. We're normalizing it. We're giving it all of the advantages possible for PlayStation.
Argus says, when it doesn't realize by emulating physical games, you emulate used games and the entire secondary market, which competes with the new games through lower prices, which means less reason for companies to even put the digital games on sale at all or ever lower their prices over time. Yeah. Yeah, but that's down the road, Argus. I don't care about that stuff.
To pull off this scummy move. And people are going to be weak. People will not want to boycott and complain about PlayStation when it's, for many people, the no-brainer option to play the big game of GTA 6. Another case of not respecting us. But I don't believe we can let them win because it's a very slippery slope. And from here, we will mean nothing. So please, make your voices heard. Every video covering this topic should be on front page. Every tweet needs to be blasted. Every announcement from PlayStation needs to be filled with memes. The noise has to be deafening, and then the money has to go elsewhere. Because if we allow this to happen, there will be nightmares to endure. There will be cases to hear in European Parliament. Trust me, this is not going to go down well in Europe. But at the end point of it all, the ones that are going to suffer the most are us, the customer. Because this slippery slope continues down a path of greed, continues down a path of taking everything away from us. And slowly that's going to also take it away from developers. It's going to take it away from the health of the industry. It's going to betray the trust to the point that if you think that a video game crash is necessary, oh boy is it. So stand up for what this medium means to you. Go elsewhere. Support video games that respect you. Play indie games. Find incredible stories and adventures. Look for them wherever you can find them. But most important of all, here at the end of this video, don't...
Shh, Michael. Roadkill doesn't know stuff like that. He doesn't know about that. Shh.
Stop loving video games. Don't let the hatred and the negativity overflow and ruin what can otherwise be a fantastically stacked year of great video games. Don't let this ruin the potential of the next generation of games or just the continue.
Legendary says, been digital for many years. It doesn't bother me. It's not about digital. This whole thing's not about digital. Okay? It's about choice. That's the biggest thing people are missing from this. It has nothing to do about digital. Enjoy digital. But not having physical changes the complete landscape of gaming across the board. Competition, prices, right? Everything changes when they're not physical. Physical keeps that price down. The digital games have to go on sale because of the physicals exist, right? People don't understand this. It's about choice. If you don't have choice, then you lose, right? Everyone's just blindly like, I'm on digital. It's not about the digital. You can have digital, enjoy digital. I want physical. People want physical. And because the people that want physical, that's what's holding everything back. This is why the companies want to get rid of physical. Because if they get rid of physical, then they control the entire market. If they control the entire market, then they can raise the prices and do what they want and hold the price as high as they want for the longest possible time. They control the entire thing. Nothing. There's no middleman. There's no shipping. There's no stores to compete. No one's trying to match price anything. It's about choice. It's not about digital.
Of games, because let's be honest, the next generation is looking pretty slippery given the RAM apocalypse and the general market of things. Just make sure that you enjoy them. Look PlayStation and their attempts to turn gaming into an obligation, into a job, into a battle pass, into an advertisement storefront, and say, no, I enjoy playing video games. Download an emulator. Buy yourself a retro handheld and play all of the video games that you love.
Yeah.
Play the classics.
The fact, I talked about this earlier, Michael, the fact that Sony took away 500 movies that people owned, and people are not even talking about it. They're just like, that's not a big deal. Who even owns movies anymore? It's like, the fuck are we talking about? They just took 500 movies away from people. You don't think they're going to do that for video games? Denial. People are in denial, man.
Find hidden gems. Just don't let the people that are trying to take everything away from us win. I've been Mug. Thank you so much for watching. I'm like really angry today. And I think we should be. I think we all should be. But I thank you so damn much for watching. And I want to give an extra special thanks to the members of The Wall, be they patrons or members here on YouTube. These are the people who directly support what I do on the channel. I have it set to the lowest price that the platforms allow me to set, and it gets you up on the wall. But I appreciate that extra comfort, that extra stability, especially when I go scorched earth on some of the biggest companies in the space, even if they deserve it. I also want to thank Ironside Computers for partnering with the channel.
Water. I've been saying this for the entire time I've had my channel. The entire time I've had my channel, I've talked about this, right? I think it's funny that everyone else is just finally fucking waking up.
That affiliate link is going to be there here and in future videos, so if you wanted to take a look, check out what they have on offer, make that move to PC. They're a team that strongly believes in this same message, in a commitment to making sure that you feel taken care of as a customer and that you need to get your money's worth, which is why I've partnered with them, and I'm grateful to find partners like that in the space. If you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want more from me, if you think this stuff matters, subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. But most important of all, go out there and enjoy some great video games. Don't let...
That's exactly how it feels like. I said smelling salt, but that is a much better way of putting it, Water. Right? So basically everyone just got unplugged from the Matrix all at the same time yesterday. Yeah, it's crazy to me. Right? It's crazy because we've been talking about this shit for years. Right? Hence why my stand is what it's always been. Right? I'm not against digital. Right? I'm against what the companies do. The greedy companies, what they do. Right? They said that prices of video games are supposed to go down. Right? When digital originally happened, they said prices were going to go down because when it's digital, they don't have to pay for any of the other stuff. Right? Real quick, go hit Mug Thief's channel, give it a like, give it a sub. The whole supply chain, man, is completely and utterly screwed. And everyone's like, "Well, it's no big deal to me." That's great. If it doesn't affect you, shut the fuck up. Right? It affects other people, and the other people are holding the line. We want physical, not because I like physical things in my hand. I want physical because it controls the market. We get to decide what's high and low based on what's out there. If we lose that, then you get no say. You just got to eat it. Right? You're waiting for a game to go on sale, and everyone's like, oh, well, sales happen all the time on Sony and Microsoft. Yeah. Do you know why? Because the physical edition still exists, and they're in Best Buy and Target and GameStop and secondhand, and they have to compete with that. And if that's not there, they don't have to compete. So while you're sitting there going, oh, my neighbor's house is on fire, I'm okay. The rest of the world's burning. Just your house is safe. Right? Everything around you're like, well, and then then the time comes when you have to buy something because maybe you get a family and now you want to buy a game and your son or daughter's like, I want this. And you're like, well, that's $100. Is there a discount? No, they just don't go on sale, Dad. That's just how things are. And you're like, okay, I guess I have to pay for that. And then the other person's like, well, I want this game too now. Well, how much is that? Well, that's $100. Oh, well, how long has it been out for? It's been out for 3 years. $100 still. And you're like, all right, I guess I'll pay for it. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Just fucking stupid at that point. Hey, why are you stuck in a fork in the light socket? Because, oh, okay, that's just the way it is. Roic says, I'm playing Grim Dawn now. Very good, are you, G? This is an older game. And also, what is that? Picked up the main game and all the expansions for $50. New expansions coming in a couple of weeks and only for $20. Time to sleep on the couch. Yeah. Arga says Sony can literally afford a lobby to pay off the politicians, do exactly what they wanted, and right away, marriage license and birth certificates. Yeah. Wait till all the patents that they have for biometric stuff to log in when you play your game. Again, because it's biometrics and you want to play your PlayStation game, your wife, your daughter, your son won't be able to biometrically play the game because you're at work and they're like, I want to play that game that we just bought for $100. Oh, sorry. You have to have a new user agreement. Oh, you have to pay extra, right? You have to have 2 copies of this $100 video game. It's funny to me that some think Microsoft and Nintendo isn't next. Well, I have news for you. Yeah, no, they're all together. This is not a Sony thing. This is a digital media thing where you're going to lose all rights and you're not going to have any physical media to control the market. What about when they charge you $50 or me $100 because they see our spending habits? Yep. Did you know right now in like Walmart and stuff that's happening, but on a smaller scale, like when you go into a Walmart and stuff now, they don't have any prices on anything. They have the digital boards and there's no price. So you don't know what the price is. And then when you scan it with your phone, it gives you your price. But if I'm next to you and I scan it with my phone, it could be like $10 cheaper. There's no prices. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure they're not all going to do that. I'm going to just keep buying. I'm going to keep buying at Walmart because there's no other competition, right? No, there is competition, but they choose to because of convenience. Because you might be in a place where Target or other places that you have to shop is way farther away, and Walmart's just convenient. Microsoft's already doing it. They're all doing it. And this is why people come in here and they're like, oh, Sony this, Microsoft that. No, the entire fucking industry is doing this. I'm not against Sony or against Microsoft. I'm against all of the fucking places. Right? You want to be a business, but don't try to fuck me over every five fucking seconds. Water Bear says, oh, I know. We're going to be blame Rockstar Watch because they also have GTA 6 non-physical copies. They did it first, like the horse armor. I said that earlier in the stream, Water. Horse armor was it's just one horse armor. Just one horse armor. Yeah. It was just Grand Theft Auto first. Right? It was just Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, just the biggest video game franchise in history. KFC is taking a jab at Sony. Mr. G says 30. Here at Walgreens yesterday at the Woolbright store, prices at the Military Trail were different than the Jog Road. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Due to area codes or zip codes. The horse armor wasn't first. It was the most outrageous. We understand it wasn't the first. We don't need the... Well, actually, it wasn't the first. We understand. People here understand that. But everyone knows the horse armor. Right now, Sony thing is because they were first ones to say it out loud. Now to everyone else, it looks like they're at fault. Oh, no, Argus. They're blaming Microsoft. There's people out there that are Sony ponies so bad that they're blaming Microsoft for not competing. Why they're doing this? Fucking like mind-boggling to me. El Dente says, so the real question is, do I only go to the rich people area or the poor people area? No, it doesn't really matter because it knows you specifically what you make. So it doesn't matter if you go to the poor area or the rich area, El Dente. If you use your phone to pay for stuff, okay, it knows what your spending habits are. We bought the other day. It wasn't on sale. Okay. It's these little Mr. Beast swarm things, whatever, for my son. And like they remind me of Muscles back in the day, right? The old Muscles, little toys, right? So he's collecting these little figurines. And we paid, I think it was like $12.99 for the starter pack, whatever it was, right? So we bought that. And it was $12, $12 for 14 of them. And we're like, all right, it's not that bad, whatever. Okay. He's like, hey, can I get some more? And we're like, yeah, okay. We looked at the price. It's fucking $23. Double the price of what the other one was. And we're like, was it on sale? So we looked back. It wasn't on sale. All of a sudden, I went on my phone, okay? And it was cheaper because my wife paid it from her phone. So she knew. Now, mine wasn't as expensive as hers, but it was still $20. It was $3 less, but still $6 more. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? So my speculation here is that they know that you've already purchased one. We've talked about this in mobile gaming, right? Where someone bought a $1 microtransaction and then it said, hey, do you want to buy this $5 microtransaction? And they're like, yeah, I'll buy the $5 microtransaction. And then they say, hey, you want to buy this $10 microtransaction? And they place you in a thing. So they already know that you've purchased this. And they're like, well, you're already interested, so we know that you'll pay more. Right? That is scummy fucking shit, man. Front Track's way more than people think. They're going to be like moron bought $140 of popcorn buckets. 30 funny. I just received an email. Physical edition of Dune Awakening release on PlayStation 5 September 22nd. Pre-order now. Nice. You going to buy it? I'm slightly behind, but I just, not just your phone, but if you also use a debit/card, they know. 100%. They're tracking you individually for the thing. It's, bro, people, again, they just put their head in the sand like an ostrich. And they're just like, I'm safe here. It's that Jason Voorhees outside my window. My window's right here, right? If I open my window and a murderer's outside, and I'm like, oh, I just close the blinds. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. You remind me when my kids wanted Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he went on to New Jersey City and bought copies for like $3, and the ones which also were $50. Yeah, it's crazy, right? This is why when I go places, I pay cash. And the people that are business owners, right? Because most of the time we go to places that are like mom and pop shops that are local, okay? For anything. Like if I go buy bread and stuff like that, I try to support local stuff, right? Where you pay cash, and they love cash, right? And they'll give you better prices because you pay with cash, okay? Everyone pays a card. Everyone pays a card. They're paying more. Gas prices, they don't even look at gas prices now, right? It'll show you the cash price on the sign, so you pull in the gas station, and when you fill up, right, it'll show you the card because they want you to go inside. And if you go inside, they hope they get you to pay inside, right? You don't get receipts now. A lot of gas stations don't give you receipts either. Get the receipt inside because they're losing money, even though they're charging more money. They want you to go inside so you buy something. Oh, yeah. Well, cash is king. But concerts, they try to get it at the highest prices because then they get even more, with the fees and all the other stuff. There's a bunch of stuff. Right? You got to watch what you spend your money on. But people don't. They just, they swipe the card, pay the minimum payment. So by the time they pay off whatever they bought, a $5 milkshake is now $25 by the time they pay it off 6 months from now. Crazy shit. But, Sony good. Well, Microsoft's doing the same thing. No shit. Well, you don't have your games on PC. It's the same. It's not the same. Competition's not the same. There's competition on PCs, not competition on the console, especially when they go digital. All right. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30NSG. We're going to move real quick. DomGaming, we were going to watch what happened to multiplayer games. We're going to push that to Monday. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Generation X Gaming, a weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. If you guys like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I do appreciate you very much for coming out, hanging out with us, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Boot up the store, price is insane. $600 just to feel the same. Broken on launch, patch it later. Still want praise from every creator. Controllers cost half a paycheck per me experience. Yeah, sure bet they raise the price, shrug their shoulders, act shocked when nobody shows up. Who's this for? Not us. Who pays more? Not us. What do we say? Not us. We done, we done, we done. Console prices going up. We done with this. Half-baked games, full price. We done with this. Pay to play, pay again. We done with this. Raise it one more time. We done with this. problem, sell the fix. Used to plug and play, now it's log and wait. Servers down on launch day, great. They blame the market, blame the fans, never blame their greedy plans. What's broken? The game. Who paid? We did. Who's mad? We are, and we're not doing this again. Console prices going up, we done with this. Beta test set full price, we done with this. Deluxe edition scams, we done with this. We've had enough, yeah, we done with this. The users, excuses, no more greed, greed, greed. We love the games, hate the suits, hate the charts, hate the loot. We're not whales, not your stats. We're the reason you exist, remember that. You want trust, earn it back. Ship it, finish, cut the crap. Till then hear the crowd say, we're not paying more to play. Console prices going up, we done with this. Broken launches every time, we done with this. Raise the price, lose the crowd, we done with this. Say it loud, say it proud, we done with this. What? We done